Your tickets before the live draw on June 5th. Get yours at rafflebox.ca/raffle/the Great Family Adventure Raffle. License number 766115. Open to Alberta residents 18 plus only.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
Power play for Tampa Bay. With Bruce getting comfortable. Here's Radish. Radish ties in a power play goal. It's third point of the game. Goal number 20 on the season for Radish.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Thompson had played along the wing. Snuggerud jammed it down into the corner. Thomas deflected it up to the line. Brobert over to Mayu to
Snuggerud, he scored! A one-timer from the near dot. 1-0 St. Louis in the 16th of the year for Snuggerud.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
Before the battle eventually won by Edmonton, slapped up ice by Bouchard, and now Savoy's on the puck. Shoots, and that might have clipped the outside of the goalpost. Here's Bouchard showing slapper. Savoy reach and score. Short-handed goal, and Edmonton takes its first lead of the night, 2-1. Savoy's 12th.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul, 633, Thursday, March the 26th. Hey, good morning to you. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440, presented by Sports Select on your AM radio dial, on your morning drive, wherever you're heading out on a Thursday morning. So glad you could spend some time with us. Hey, you can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Please drop us a like, a subscription. We would appreciate that. And we're also on X. We are on Facebook, even Instagram and Twitch. And if you're streaming, well, we're on iHeart, the TuneIn app, even sports1440.ca. If you miss any part of any show, well, you can catch up by searching it where all the podcasts hang out. On Apple, even Spotify, on Google, and even Amazon. Be sure to subscribe. Select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of any show. Yeah, good morning to you, and thanks for checking in this morning. So glad you could spend some time with us. If you're driving around, I'm not sure if you're heading out on the White Mud. I was driving in this morning. So westbound on the White Mud, about an hour ago, a little bit more than an hour ago, something like that. And some truck or whatever lost a load of papers, like just normal 8x10 white sheeted papers. And they're all over the White Mud going westbound. So like between 149th Street and 170th Street. I don't know if anyone's driving around and noticed this or whatever, but these things were like floating in the wind. And now, you know, cars are going by and trucks are going by. And these things it's like a big confetti party down near like 149 and 170th Street. So it's pretty wild down there. And now, because of this crappy weather that we're having, the papers are starting to freeze. Some of them were freezing to the pavement. So I'm not sure if anyone's driving down the White Mud right now listening at between 149 and 170. But this is going to be a bit of a mess to clean up. And it's not just like it's about 3 areas. I was like, what the hell's going on out there? It felt like you were in you win the Super Bowl and they're putting the confetti down, but a little bit on the surface with white sheets of paper. Wow. Anyway, that was my drive to work. So glad you're with us on a Thursday morning. It's game day. It's game night for the Edmonton Oilers. They are in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights, and it's a third meeting between these two teams. And so far, the Oilers have kind of run the show here for the Vegas Golden Knights this year. They won both times. They defeated the Golden Knights way back in December, 4-3 at Rogers Place. Then a couple of weeks ago, 4-2 down in Vegas. And as a result of those two wins and what's been going on lately, where the Vegas Golden Knights are in disarray. The Oilers are 1 point ahead of Vegas in the Pacific Division standings. You know what? When you think about Vegas and you think about the type of team that the Golden Knights have had for an awful long time, and you think about how tough that they have played the Oilers when it comes to playoff series, when it comes to just regular season games, it's not like that this year. Even when you watch Vegas and they're not playing the Oilers, they don't scare you. They don't go, man, this is a team that I'm worried about. They can handle you physically. They've got the skill. And for the most part, they had the goaltending, especially on their playoff runs and their Stanley Cup championship with Adin Hill. Now Adin Hill can't stop anything. He's getting hooked left and right. But they miss so much up front in the sense of some toughness, some size. And obviously they miss Pietrangelo on the back end. They pick up Rasmus Andersson from Calgary. For whatever reason, he has not been a fit. He's not played well. He's on the third pairing. They got Hannafin and Caden Korzak playing ahead of him. Anderson and Jeremy Lauzon are playing together. They just have not been able to be a fit for Rasmus Andersson, and they gave up a lot. You think about it, Zach Whitecloud is playing better than Rasmus Andersson right now. Hey, text 833-401-1440. Get him in. We will get him on. As mentioned, the Oilers will go into this one a point ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights and still sniffing around, trying, they've got a chance to catch the Anaheim Ducks in the Pacific Division. They've got a chance. However, there's a lot of work to be done because Anaheim's here on Sunday. That's a Saturday, pardon me. That is a total must-win game. Oilers are 5 points back. Anaheim does have a game in hand. So imperative that the Oilers win tonight, win tomorrow. And not only that, it's about stacking some wins together. We mentioned this yesterday and the day before. This team has not been able to play well for a long period of time. Maybe the longest period of time is less than a week, which is crazy to say. And they still have a chance to win the Pacific Division here. But you build, and that's what they started to build the other night in Utah. Now you build from shift to shift, and that's what they did in the first period. Now you stack up the first and second and the third. Now you got a game. Next thing you know, you try that again. You do it tonight in Vegas. So you stack up a couple of games, and then all of a sudden that snowball starts rolling, and you get to where the Oilers were a couple of years ago when they had winning streaks of 16, 17 games and 8 games. So that's what this team has to do. Text line 833-401-1440 around the NHL last night. Boston beat Buffalo 4-3 in overtime. Massive win for the Bruins as they slip back into a playoff spot with 88 points. Well, they were never out of it, but there's a little bit of a cushion between themselves and Ottawa, the Islanders, and Detroit. So Boston with 88 points in the number one wild card spot out east. Senators are at 85 with a game in hand. The Islanders at 85, Red Wings at 84, also with a game in hand. The Leafs beat the Rangers 4-3. Rangers officially eliminated from the postseason. Hilarious moment at the Leafs game last night. So Blue Jay players, George Springer, Ernie Clement go to the game. So they're in the stands and they got their Leafs jerseys on with their names on them. They're not going incognito. Anyway, so the usher comes up and says, "Boys, you're in the wrong seats." So they got to take them back a couple rows or whatever. All I thought is the old Bob Uecker commercial, "Oh, I must be in the front row." And anyway, I think they ended up in a box. Someone probably said, get these jokers out of there and get them in a box. They were having some fun. I thought it was quite humorous for sure. And they were, the looks on their faces like, no, you guys are in the wrong seats. Back it up. You're about 4 rows back. It was funny. It is opening day. It is opening day in the majors of baseball, even though they had the game last night in San Fran where the New York Yankees blew out the Giants 7-0. Today is when the real bullets get going with a whole whack of games. Things get going just after 11 o'clock. Pittsburgh and the New York Mets. Game staggered all day long. You can watch baseball from 11 till 11 if you want, because that's even probably more so than that, probably almost close to midnight. But it will be a great day for baseball. The Blue Jays don't open till tomorrow. And, of course, we got Blue Jays baseball right here in Sports 1440 all summer long on the weekends. And then during the week, after Greg's show is over at 6 p.m., we'll join the Blue Jays in progress, on Sports 1440 AM radio. So lots to look forward to there. CFL Coach of the Year was announced last night, Corey Mace. Not really much of a surprise. The Saskatchewan Roughriders head coach is the CFL Coach of the Year. He not really edged out, Jason Maas from the Montreal Alouettes, the former Double E quarterback. 53 members of the Football Reporters of Canada voted on this. 39 first place votes for Corey Mace. So he is your CFL Coach of the Year. And, of course, the Combine gets rolling here tomorrow throughout the weekend. Tons to talk about. We'll have guys on tomorrow, I'm sure, and Eddie Steele's going to be in to discuss this. Even, today we'll discuss it a little bit with Declan Kruger from Elks Nation. He's going to join us a bit later in the show. I'm not sure if he's able to speak right now because he just put together a tasty little burrito in the air fryer. The Duke of Delburne, let's welcome in. Good morning, Duke. Are you?
Good morning, Kev.
What do you got there? What do you got going there?
It's scrambled eggs.
Oh boy.
Breakfast sausage, peppers, cheese, a little bit of chipotle sauce, some salsa.
Boy.
Yeah, you just whipped them up, put them in the freezer last week, and now if I'm ever jonesing for one, I just pull it out. And sometimes I'll cook them at home, but today I was coming in, I was like, we got the air fryer here at the bar area, the lounge. Stuck it in there while we were leading into the start of the show, and now once we get rolling here, I'm planning on really diving in and enjoying it best I can.
Really? And you made them?
I made them, yeah.
So how many did you make?
I think, because I made like 8 eggs is what I had left in the carton and a whole package of breakfast sausage, so I think it came out to like 7 or 8 wraps.
Eddie's up and at him already. He says, text in, Duke trying to get like me with the chef skills.
Well, no, Eddie, because I made real food, not gruel.
Oh, Eddie brings in the worst breakfast. Sometimes I was thinking, maybe Eddie should come on every day. And then I thought, no, with the eggs and banana bread, the oatmeal it looks like it's just been sitting out in the sun for like 3 to 4 weeks. It just looks bad. It looks really bad. Text 833-401-1440. Raptors went into LA, lost to the Clippers last night, 119-94. The other thing too last night that I was noticing, I looked at some of the scores this morning. Holy moly, were there some high scores last night? I don't know if you're playing Sports Select, but if you wanted to go over on a few things, I think that Chicago-Philadelphia game, they were damn near 300 points. I don't know what the over-under on that game was, but I'm
seeing 157, 137, the final. Had to catch the over. There's no doubt about it. But it wasn't even the highest scoring game of the night.
Yeah, 294 for that one, right? What was the highest one of the night?
Oh, I know you're right. I misread because I just seen Jamal Murray's 53 points in Denver's 142-135 win over the Mavericks. So yeah, you're right. A couple track meets, and then even Lakers over Indy 137-130.
Yeah,
130-129. The Pistons lose in OT to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 142-135. Then in the Minnesota was down 13 in overtime. Duke, the largest come from behind victory in overtime, came back to beat Houston. So
exciting night in the association.
Yeah, no kidding. Western Hockey League tomorrow. The Blades are in town to take on the Edmonton Oil Kings. So looking forward to some Western League playoffs. The Blades should be able to handle Saskatoon in this series. You never know. I mean, you have to be prepared. But this is a good start and a good opponent to kick things off. And then next round it's going to be a little tougher because obviously one of the top 2 seeds in the East, whether it be Prince Albert or Medicine Hat, those 2 teams are really good, and so are the Oil Kings. So they'll have a tougher opponent moving forward. But good start, hopefully, for the Oil Kings tomorrow against the Saskatoon Blades. Hey, coming up on the big program, we got this show is unbelievable today. Laddie Schmid, the Duke, lined him up yesterday, and he's in Czech, so Laddie will join us. Obviously, Laddie not being able to co-host with us here on Thursdays for about a month. He's going to be back in May, but he's over in Czech working with the under-18 team. He was on last week. He came on Friday, actually. So Laddie's going to guest with us right off the hop here. It's like 2:30, 3:30 in Czech. So Laddie will be with us right after the break. Mark Spector, Frank Saravalli, our double-barrel shotgun hockey insiders at 8 o'clock and 8:20, respectively. As mentioned, Declan Kruger from the Lowdown and Elks Nation will be with us. March Madness, back at it today. We've got some games to talk about with Declan. Also, we'll touch on a couple of stories and reports and interviews from Elks Nation that Declan's been going at it with Fast Eddie Steele. They talked to Tyrell Ford this week, so we'll get some comments on that as well. In the 10 o'clock hour, Jesse Granger from the Athletic covers the Vegas Golden Knights, been on the show many times before, so we'll tee up tonight's game. And then Ben Schulman, looking forward to this Toronto Blue Jays play-by-play man. And again, Blue Jays baseball back on Sports 1440 for another season on weekends, and then we'll join the weekday games in progress after 6 p.m. So looking forward to, man, if you're ever, sitting outside, you want to listen to a game and you don't want to listen or watch it on TV, maybe you're outside or whatever. It's just so cool to listen to baseball, sitting, having a beer out in the patio or whatever, out at the lake or on a boat or doing some fishing. I mean, that's just solid to listen to some Blue Jays baseball. And we got it for you right here on Sports 1440 AM radio all summer long. When we come back, Ladislav Schmid, our co-host on Thursdays and the former NHLer, Laddie will be by right after the break on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. Presented by Sports Select. Hey, we're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still don't care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No self-proclaimed titles, no iPads, no trips to Vegas or hockey jerseys, just a really good deal. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
The longest-running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. The customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
Welcome back to the big program, 7:21 in Edmonton. So glad you're with us here on a Thursday morning, and it's time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we can meet everything that your car needs and what you need too. We got the digital vehicle report going, and it's rock solid. We just don't tell you what your car needs. We show you. All you got to do is book your appointment right now at fountaintire.com. Today, as we welcome in our Thursday morning co-host, Ladislav Schmid, a little further away in Czech, in Liberec. Good morning, lad.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you doing?
Did I pronounce it properly today?
Way better, man. You're just like your shirt. Very
I
sharp.
wore the shirt just for you today, laddie.
Oh, I love it. Well, you need to bring some sunshine into that. We just saw our house camera and what's going on there, like how much snow. It's ridiculous. We were actually complaining here with 9 degrees and partly cloudy, but it can only be worse. You can be in Edmonton, I guess, eh?
Well, I'll tell you what, I bet you didn't have to get the neighbor to shovel the snow when you left. You're like, we're free and clear here, but it has snowed. It's probably snowed a half a foot here in the last couple of days, laddie.
I've heard that's crazy, man. End of the March. But Edmonton, you never know. We might get snow in April or May.
Yeah, you got that right. How you been keeping? How was the week for you?
Good. I've watched a lot of hockey. Playoffs is in the full swing here. We are finalizing our roster or our first camp. Finalizing the names for that, which is pretty challenging with the playoffs going on in CHL and then the junior league over here. So we were kind of struggling with the bodies, but next Tuesday we got to kick it off next Tuesday. Very far from my city, but I'm very excited. I have some talks with the coaching staff and with few players. So finally it's arriving.
What games did you get to see since we talked last week, laddie?
I got to see some of the games of the Sparta Prague where I'm going to be coaching. I went to the game for my hometown team here, which it looks like not even a cleaning lady was talking to me there because everybody's kind of pissed off that I'm going to Prague. Which it is what it is. It's part of the business, but some people are holding it against me. But there wasn't room for me here, so I had to make the decision what's best for me and my family, and we went with Prague. So, but like I said, some people can get over it.
Yeah. Well, so not even the cleaning lady would talk to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some people are pretty pissed off. Even my best friend, who is a GM, we had a lunch this week, and it was kind of awkward at the beginning, but then we got to go. But like he's still pretty sour. But it is what it is. I think time will heal it. It's like a relationship,
Wow. Yeah. Time heals all wounds, laddie. So anyway, well, I mean, you're going to be, when you go into that building next year with Sparta Prague, what'll that be like for you?
Well, it's like, to be totally honest, like I've never imagined myself coaching anywhere or playing or coaching anywhere else but from my hometown. Even my dad told me, and he's almost 88, he doesn't remember shit anymore, but the other day is like, oh, I could never imagine my son coaching Sparta Prague because it's everybody's enemy here in Czech. But I was like, it is what it is. He's mostly joking around, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like we had a first big meeting with the coaching staff, and I'm getting really excited. Like all the talk about the players, how it's gonna look, our camps and our preparation and what we want to accomplish, how we want to change the culture. It's exciting. It's going to be a big challenge because we want to, they're still playing. They're going to play today again in the playoffs. So I don't want to talk about what's going on right now. They're down 3-1 in a series, but it's never done until it's done. But like there's few things we want to change. Mostly building the winning culture. Building character and work ethic and effort. Me and the rest of the coaching staff, we are kind of old school that way. To be honest, like I think it works still. Like you need that grit, you need that work ethic. Even when I coach with a junior national team, for me it's like you need skill, obviously, but for me it's you're gonna forgive the players if they're gonna make mistakes, but the effort needs to be there. Every single shift, every single practice, I need to see the effort, and then I'm gonna give them longer leash with maybe making mistakes because they want to do something, but the effort, the character, it all has to be there every single second.
Ladislav Schmid with us in Liberec, Czech, on the Kevin Carey Show here on Sports 1440. Like I've said on the show, Laddie, I think down the road, and I've said it to your face too. I think down the road that I think you're going to be coaching in the NHL someday. It's going to be down the road. And you know that I've told you that, but whether it's in 3 years or 4, whatever it is, it's obviously after this little foray into the Czech League. But what do you think for you personally that you have to work on to be a better coach? Like you've obviously kind of dissected your stuff, that what you do on the bench, and you just mentioned stuff about preparation and how to have the guys ready and things like that. For you personally, like what do you think you want to work on to be a better coach here in the next 2 years with Sparta Prague?
Well, first off, it's different coaching juniors and adults, right? It's much different. So I'm curious how that's gonna be. I think just playing in the pro leagues for a long time, here and overseas, it prepares you better. But these days, it's not just about the coaching, right? Like you need to build a relationship with the players. You need to get to know them. When I started in the NHL, it was just like, like whatever coach says, it goes, and you have to like follow. But I feel like these days, the players have a little bit more power. You have to get to know them. Like, and I believe that I believe in that. You have to get them on your side. They have to believe in you. They have to believe you. That you're not selling some bullshit. Like I did have bigger opportunity here in Czech with the men's national team, which I turned down. I'm not gonna go into the details, but there is a big change in the coaching staff here, and like unfortunately I had to turn it down because I just want to focus on one thing. Like I kind of want to build my resume and build I don't want to skip any steps, like if you jump too far and you don't have the background and to back it up and like just jump onto the big opportunity, I don't think that's right. I coach my son, that was U9, U11, U13, then I coach U15, U17. Now I was at the World Juniors, U20, now I'm U18. So I'm taking the slow steps. I want to build, I don't want to skip anything. I want to learn from the best. I want to coach with good head coaches. And, like I said, it was a great opportunity. And, some people are like, you should take it. But I'm like, no, like I want to first experience the everyday job with the pro league, and I have really appreciated, that you have the confidence in me that, I'm going to be in the NHL one day. And that's the ultimate goal for me. But I don't think I'm ready for it yet. Like I said, I want to learn, like the system and all that stuff. like I'm familiar with that. Every coach got a different system, and you can throw any system at any player, but are they gonna follow it? Are they gonna trust you? Do they believe that it's gonna make them successful? I think that's the biggest thing, to convince them, hey guys, if you're gonna follow this and you're gonna put your 100% and believe in the system, and you're gonna sacrifice, and you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, this is gonna work. But what I'm seeing here, even like talking to my friends who are like here in Europe, it's them buying that. That's the biggest issue. Like most of the people, they don't like to get out of their comfort zone, and unfortunately, that's where you get better. And it hurts. It doesn't feel great at first, but that will that will push you to the next level. So like all these little things I just mentioned, like I wanna learn that, and how to convince the players. How can I get them on my side? How can I make them believe in me, so I can have that relationship? So like when I tell them something critical, or like kind of criticize them, that they won't like be like, oh, F this guy, like I want to be that guy that they're like, well, he cares about me, so that's why he's telling me that. That's the big difference. Like you don't want to lose the locker room or lose the player. First you have to convince them that you believe in them, and that you care that he gets better, right? Like it works for both sides. If he gets better, it's good for his name. He can maybe sign a contract in a better league. And for me, if he plays well, the team will do better. So it's more psychology than actually coaching. And that was the first thing that Marek Żydlicki, he was with the World Juniors before me, and then now he was with the men's national team. And I called him as soon as got the World Junior coaching job, and he's like, Laddie, honestly, these days it's not that much about coaching. It's more about getting to know the players, spending some time with them, going to the locker room and chit-chatting. How is the life? It's not just all about the hockey, right? Like guys are like, you don't want to go too deep, but some guys are like struggling. You never know what's going on in their life. So maybe take 5 minutes of your time a day with a certain player and get to know them, so they know that you actually care.
Yeah. Ladislav Schmid with us on Sports 1440. I always said too, Laddie, one of the big jobs for a coach, and you mentioned all those qualities and things that you need to do. A coach needs if he can find a way to tap in to the potential of a player, maybe an extra 2, 3, 4% that player didn't know that he had. And if that coach can get that and grab it, and now you got something special, because you've added a little bit extra to what that player already knows he had, but maybe he didn't know that little extra. So it's that coach that can bring it out in him, I guess.
Yeah, like I had coaches like that. I'd say Steve Smith. He was awesome that way. Ralph Kruger, but like Ralph Kruger was awesome too. He was that guy that you would buy whatever he was selling. He had that approach, and he believed in me. And Steve Smith, like that's the one guy that I love. Old school guy. He played, for a long time, won Stanley Cups. And if the guy like that believes in you, and like you said, like I never knew I could do certain stuff until I talked to him. He's like, maybe, like yours, because a lot of coaches, they will ask you like, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? And then sometimes, like when I talk to Smitty, he would be like, well, I feel like there is more in this area that you can add to your game. And I'm like, well, you really? And then like, it's like humbling. It's like, it makes you feel really good. And then you go and you actually do it. You start doing it, you watch the video and you start doing this stuff. And it's like, oh my God, he was right. And then you build that trust, right? And you can move forward, and it like actually pushes you to the next level, that maybe you're not the bottom, bottom or like 5, 6 defensemen, and you can actually be top 4 and maybe a shutdown defenseman, because he was one of those. So yeah, you're exactly right.
Matt Leduc texted in, Laddie. He says, hey, this is nothing new for Laddie. He went from Edmonton to Calgary. Why not go from Liberec, as IMAC tells me how to pronounce it. Liberec to Prague.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like it's like he like I'd say like in Canada it's business, but here here in Czech they bring like I felt like I owed them something. You know, like as a player, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Don't get me like there's no chance. I had opportunities, but when I went back from the NHL to go to other places for more money, more term, and I chose not to. I didn't have to. I wanted to. I made a promise to my family and to the owner, and I said no. Like I'm going to play here. I want to play here. I want to be the leader. But when you retire and you go coaching, it's a bit different. You like my son's gonna be playing here. Like I need my family to feel comfortable. And Prague gave the best offer. I'm not saying like and it was nothing about the money. It was about the living situation and the job opportunity and my son, and my sons. So like I chose that. But some people just don't understand that that's just the business. I still respect them. Whenever we're not gonna be playing them, I still cheer for them. They're in the playoffs. I'm cheering for them. I want them to do well. I know all the people who are working for the team. So that wasn't, that's like it's just business and what's best for my family. But some people just, I guess, need more time to digest that.
Not sure if you heard yesterday, Laddie, but a guy that you're familiar with from the junior team, Michael Harabel, the goaltender, signed his entry-level contract with Utah. So I know you know a lot about him. What kind of goaltender is this guy going to turn out to be?
Man, I have high hopes for him. He is, honestly, when you talk to him, it's almost awkward talking to him because he's so smart. Like it's like he is a very intelligent young man, and he turned his first offer last year down because he wanted to focus on his school, finishing his school first, and spending one more year of developing his game there because he felt comfortable with the program there, with the coaching staff, and it turned out to be a great decision. His stats were really, really good. I think he was like attacking 94% save percentage. He is massive, man. Yeah. He is massive. I know his first year of the World Juniors, he had a very underwhelming performance, and he got, they had to switch the goalies his first year. Second year, he came on a mission. He came in like dialed in, and I'm not saying he wasn't dialed in the first year, but he was still young. A lot of pressure. I guess he wasn't handling. I wasn't there, but when I got there and he came, honestly, apparently I talked to the goalie coach, and he's like, man, like it's like a night and day. And you could tell in the practices, he wouldn't let the other goalies like shootouts. We won the shootouts against Sweden, but like you should see how prepared he was for practices. The guys couldn't score on him. And when they scored and he was supposed to switch with the backup goal, he's like, no, I'm staying here and I need at least 10, 15 more saves, and he would drive guys nuts. He would be standing on his head. So like there's just a little sample of him. He is dialed in. He has a great work ethic. He's a massive man. I honestly I don't get how you score on him because like when he stands up, there's not too many holes. And I hope he's gonna take this to the next level on the I think I just read the article too. The next step's gonna be the AHL. I think he's gonna get the opportunity. Yeah, and I honestly feel like one day he's gonna make it. Obviously, it's gonna be tough. Bay Melka is having a really good year, but I think there's a backup goalie also Czech, Vitek Banachek. I know him very well. His contract is up. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but for Hrabal, he's gonna spend minimum 1 year in AHL. They're not gonna rush him. They don't have to rush him, but I think his potential is for sure NHL. He's an NHL caliber goalie.
Yeah. Hey, Laddie, have you been able to watch any Oilers or keep tabs on what's been going on in the last week, or just too busy?
Connor 400 goal. Edmonton won. I also saw the craziness about Connor's comments and how people took it. out of context and like all that stuff. Craig Button, oh my god, that guy, man. I just saw him on a Frank's show.
Yeah.
I wanted to almost call there. I don't know if there's a number you can call and tell him to shut up. Seriously, like this is how the rumors and stupid stuff starts. And I don't think Connor meant no harm. Like he was just complimenting the culture and the coaching staff and what they were able to build there and how well prepared they are. And like, sure, some people can say, "Oh, that's too much," but like the best player in the world is complimenting arguably the best coach in the NHL. Like, why not? Like, this just shows respect. But like, people are taking shot at Chris Knobloch. Now Connor is apparently not happy with Chris Knobloch and like all this bullshit, man. Like, what a drama! I feel like I feel like when the NHL is like calm, like they need something like this to stir it up, so it's like build rumors. And I just feel like it's totally unnecessary. Like, let's just focus on hockey. There's a little bit of drama in Western Conference, big drama on Eastern Conference, right? A lot of teams in it. Like, that's the exciting part. Not that Connor McDavid is complimenting his Olympic coach because he's got a good experience with him, and like I have a lot of respect for John Cooper. That's another coach that I would love to play or even coach with, to learn from, because he just seems like a great guy and a great coach, great mind, and he surrounds himself with the great coaches as well. So there's just a sign of a big man.
I could have used you on Tuesday, Laddie, because Frank was on and he was really giving it to the whole Connor and Cooper conversation.
Oh, really? Wasn't he the same guy who said that Austin Matthews is the best goal scorer, better than Ovechkin?
I don't know.
And nothing against Austin Matthews. He's one of the best goal scorers, but Ovi is the best. Like, I think we can all agree with that. Sorry. But yeah. So Frank that's why he had Greg Button. He needed somebody to back him up. And that's I watched it yesterday.
Frank will be on here.
I will scrunch my screen, man.
You're on my side, Laddie, for sure.
Did you stand up for Connor?
I did, but a lot of our listeners were the other way around and supporting Frank. But so be it. That's the way.
Like, I get it. With comments, what Leon made like earlier. But again, like he called out everybody. Everybody needs to be better. And now Connor just complimented his coach from Olympus. He had a great experience. He respects the way he coaches. Tampa Bay is rolling. They're a wagon. In my opinion, they are might be the biggest candidate for Stanley Cup. And I know Colorado is a wagon, and we have Dallas, but that division, that's a hard division to come out of, right? They might get tired. But I think East, bit easier, and Tampa just knows what it takes. And they have the pieces. Kuch is going, right? Like, he is buzzing. Vasilevsky seems like he's back in his own form. Unfortunately, Hedman, I just read he had to leave the team. But if he comes back, he still can be a huge piece. And they have other pieces, obviously, Hagel, Point, like all these guys. And they're winners. Most of the teams, they're winners. They know what it takes. So I have them pretty high for the Stanley Cup this year.
Well, Laddie, as always, thanks for coming on, big guy. Nothing new around here. The Duke made a burrito in the air fryer this morning, but nothing new on anything else with his life.
Burrito in the air fryer. Is this a new recipe?
Well, he said he made it himself, so I don't know. I'm a little worried about it, though. I think he went
himself. Yeah, I think it turned from like being funny, not being so funny. It's depressing a little bit, no?
Duke, he wants to.
What's eating breakfast is depressing? A man's got to eat, laddie. Man's got to eat. I thought you'd be proud of me.
Burrito in the air fryer.
Well, yeah, like you make them. I made it last week and froze it, and then I put it in the air fryer just to reheated, I guess, essentially.
Oh God, you froze burrito and then oh man. Hey,
how's your mom's meals
I have
doing,
an
laddie?
offer for you. Come to check. I'm gonna
How are
introduce
the
you
meals?
to some women.
How are the meals at your mom's, laddie?
Oh man, it's not stopping. Now she's making this dessert. It's called buchti. It's like this sweet bread filled with like a jam or like a cream cheese. It smells everywhere. Oh, I can smell it. Man, it's meal after meal. It's ridiculous. It never stops. My workouts, actually, I have to extend my workouts to burn extra calories. It's amazing. It's amazing. She never stops. My kids are enjoying themselves. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Obviously my dad is getting up there, right? He's gonna be 88 soon, but having the kids around him. I just came home today and he was fighting my 4-year-old. My 4-year-old was doing the round cakes and my dad was like pretending to punch him. It was hilarious, man. So like I haven't seen my dad like that in months, years maybe. So it's great. It's truly a joy here.
Well, good stuff, laddie. I know you got work to do yet and big supper plans. So have a good one, and we'll see what the schedule looks like here in the near future. But have fun over there, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Duke. Stay strong, Duke. I believe in you, buddy.
Stay strong, Duke. That's Ladislav Schmid in Liberec, Czech, where he's going to be coaching, not in Liberec, but for Sprague Prata next year. But he's got work with the under-18 team here to do in the next month. And his coaching career in Czech is really taking off. That's the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, we focus on one thing, and it is your vehicle. Visit fountaintire.com to book your appointment today. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. Top of the hour, Mark Spector, Frank Saravalli to follow. It's a Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. I'm Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio, presented by Sports Select. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lottery, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Step up to the plate with confidence this season with St. Albert's Source for Sports, your trusted experts in baseball. From the diamond to the dugout, get the latest from top brands like Mizuno, Victus, Marucci, Rawlings, and Easton. Suit up with new cleats, helmets, pants, and don't forget the gloves, because champions know that every catch counts and every play matters. At St. Albert's Source for Sports, they know the game and they have the gear to prove it. St. Albert's Source for Sports, your source for baseball gear over 35 years.
Why should you drive a Subaru?
How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 7:49 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you. Hey, on Sports 1440, presented by Sports Select, our title sponsor. You bet it's presented by Sports Select. It's easy to play, too. And again, tonight we've got a bigger schedule at 15 games in the NHL on Tuesday night. Tonight we've got 13 games, so go to your Lotto kiosk dealer, your Lotto spot retailer. It's 100% legal, must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. You could put together a hell of a ticket again tonight with 13 NHL games going on, plus March Madness. If you want to bet on March Madness, tonight's the night too, as things get underway back with the Sweet 16. Hey, we had our fantasy frenzy Major League Baseball draft last night. It was a lot of fun. Duke, hell of a job lining things up as the commissioner. 20 teams.
20 teams, and had to actually turn a couple people away at the last second. I think three or four people, two of which actually had sent the e-transfer.
Mm-hmm.
We had to refund it because we're like, sorry, the league's like, we're full. We want to have you, but we just can't. And then Connor was proposing the idea of a development league for the next tier of people that were coming in the next wave, and that one would be controlled and managed by Donovan Paulson.
Oh, wow. Well,
in the minors, to borrow a phrase.
He's on the B wall.
Yeah.
Donnie P. So we've had text people wondering about how things get going. And I asked you even last night because of how players were being inserted. Technically, week one is starting next week for us.
Yeah, like our league will start, since we did the draft last night while the first game was already being played, and, you know, criticize all you want, but we were kind of scrambling to get together, wanted to give people time to get entered. So doing the draft last night on a non-Oilers night, our league will start on Monday. So this weekend, call it a scouting period to make any adjustments to your drafted roster for the players that are listening. And if you do, for anybody else, like I know we had one text already from John, to adjust your roster, like you can only do it really on a Monday. So you have to, in the app, fast forward to Monday, and then you can move guys in and out of your roster, put them on the injured list, make waiver ads, whatever the case.
Mm-hmm. Are you happy with your team, Duke?
Overall, yes. I was just saying this to you and Josh in the break. Last year, following our draft, I was extremely confident. Coming out of the draft, I thought I'd crushed it. I thought I'd pulled the wool over all of your guys' eyes, and it kind of proved that way for most of the year, where our team dominated the regular season and came up short in the playoffs. This year, I'm not nearly as confident. There were several times where you, MTR, others mixed in, but I definitely thought you two stood out as I had, like, next pick up, I had a name circled, and you guys came in and scooped them from me. So I'm going to have to be a more active manager during the season to make roster adjustments. Last year, it was a lot of just the edges, you know, filling in, replacing bench players, extra pitchers and things, but most of my day-to-day roster stayed the same. I'm barring some real pleasant surprises. I think I'm going to have to be a little more active this season. What about you?
I was pretty happy, to be honest with you. There's, as you say, there's always a player that you have in your queue that someone snags a couple before. And there's always another thing for me, I had him on my list and I wanted JJ Weatherholt out of St. Louis, but I probably grabbed him a little bit early. I could have maybe moved him, but that's the risk you take.
Of course.
In a 20-person draft, if you like a guy that you think that's
you got to get him.
Just go after him. Just go after him, and that's how it is. In a single league, NL or AL, when you have 10 or 11 or 12 teams, there's always the possibility that you could slide that guy. But in a 20-team draft, same with Colt Keith. And I'll be honest, Duke, I had a little chat with our good friend Jensen Lewis from SiriusXM.
I should have done the same.
Yeah, and I said, Jensen, anything, and this was last week when I went to Saskatoon for our American League. Is there anyone out there, do you think, would kind of sleeperish, sort of in that area? And he did mention, he said Colt Keith. He said he feels Colt Keith in Detroit's going to have a really good year. So, and the other thing too is if you can grab guys that have multiple position slots, Keith's, he qualifies at first, second, and third. Weatherholt's second, third, and short. So you can move guys in.
And I'll be honest, Kev, once I get into the later rounds, that becomes a little bit of a target of mine, is finding some utility guys that maybe they're not going to be in your roster week to week, but should something happen, at least you've got somebody you can plug in a few different places while you wait for the next promising name to come across the waiver wire. So, and that proved, like I said, I'm not trying to steer away from what proved successful last year for us, the Fantasy Frenzy team, even if the final result wasn't there. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, first pitch tonight, I'm ready to sit down, first pitch this morning, I guess, technically, for the entire league. And then the Blue Jays, of course, getting at it tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it. Even if the weather here doesn't necessarily indicate springtime baseball.
Text 833-401-1440. We'll get to them in the 8 o'clock hour, but at the top of the hour, we have Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV to follow. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Two games in the NHL last night. The Bruins get up the extra point over the Sabres, 4-3 winners in overtime to scale back into wildcard number 1 slot. And the Maple Leafs, they beat the Rangers 4-3. The loss officially eliminates the Rangers from playoff contention. In the PWHL, Montreal shut out Minnesota 3-0 in Seattle. Top New York 4-1 in the Alberta Junior Hockey League playoff action. Camrose blank drum Heller 6-0 to take a 3-1 series lead. Grand Prairie finished the sweep of Lloydminster with a 5-3 victory. Canmore lost to Calgary 7-5, and Fort McMurray lost to Whitecourt 5-3. Full set of games in the association, including the Raptors losing in LA to the Clippers 119-94. Former Rap Kawhi Leonard leading the way with 27 points. Elsewhere, Detroit lost to Atlanta 131-29 in overtime. Canadian Jamal Murray 53 points in a high-scoring affair between the Nuggets and Mavericks. Denver takes it 142-135. And San Antonio, they beat Memphis 123-98. Opening night in the major leagues of baseball, the Yankees easily win over the Giants 7-0 the final from San Francisco. And from CFL honors here in Edmonton last night, Saskatchewan Roughriders head coach Corey Mace named Coach of the Year for last season. Coming up in hour 2, the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still don't care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No self-proclaimed titles, no iPads, no trips to Vegas or hockey jerseys, just a really good deal. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson, and I'm joined by a very important member of our team, Jody. She coordinates our crew and job packages for all furnace replacements, air conditioner, and heat pump installs.
And Dennis, I've got to say, our installers really are the best. They've all been with us for a long time, and we never use subcontractors.
So you know that whomever is in your home is a Weiss Johnson employee, not someone hired out just to get things done. So the next time you need us, ask for Jody.
Always happy to help.
Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 801 in Edmonton. Hour number 2 of the Kevin Karius Show. Man, hour number 1 just flew by. Good to catch up with Ladislav Mead in Liberec, Czech. Mac was saying I was close to pronouncing it properly. Unlike last week when it was like, I think I had Liberace,
Yeah, I had like Liberace on your mind because you're Liberace.
Liberace.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Yeah.
Big time.
Anyway, that's where Laddie is for the next month or so, and he'll be back with us in May. Time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness is on right now, and before you do anything, check out and have a look at the new massive Autoplex. It's a massive indoor sales room. Come in, see the great folks at Northgate. I mean, especially with all the just horrific weather we've had here in the last couple of days. Perfect time to go inside and check in the massive indoor sales room. Have a look at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
What's going on this fine morning? You got some snow up there, I heard.
Last 2 days, it's been crazy. It's been nutso. Been shoveling and like it's,
Yeah.
you get to that point where you go, I don't care anymore. Just whatever.
It's going to melt.
Yeah. Well, it's actually not, Spec. For the next week, we're still pretty chilly around here. So.
Really? Now you talked to Brian Road up at Marmot. I'll bet you there's going to be some fine spring skiing this year.
You should be heading there right from Vegas.
Oh, boy.
Right.
I'll tell you what, if I don't have to go on that last road trip of the season, I'll be covering it from Jasper is my plan.
Why wouldn't you? Hey, did you go out for your $25 coffee and bagel this morning?
Just got my $7 Starbucks, that's all. Can't afford the bagel, not in these economic times.
Oh, yeah. You just put it on the Sportsnet credit card, don't you? Those days are long gone. Remember those days when all you scribes would sit around and bust down the bill, and man, you guys were just pigs at the table at the trough. All you guys.
First of all, there's not enough sports writers to put on a dinner anymore.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's the first thing. And second of all, yeah, you're right. My per diem today is what it was in like 2005.
Well, but back then, even like I remember you guys saying, well, I can write this one off and I can send it to this editor or whatever manager. You guys were always, it was bad.
Yeah, so I had some fun on the road.
Yeah.
They put me in jail.
You guys, it was one scam after another with all you guys. I always remember too, like you guys said, okay, let's work on this story together. And let's not scoop each other on the road because we don't want to make the other guy look bad. We don't want to make.
No, I was never that guy.
Start spec.
I knew some of those guys, but I was never that guy.
Yeah.
Tell you what, me and Danny Barnes used to go at it hard. We both covered the Oilers beat. I was a journal. He was a son.
Yeah.
And this has happened with my colleagues all over the country. So you'd work all day, you work against each other, and then you're the only two guys in the road. So of course you go out, you have a bite to eat, you go for some drinks, and you're both watching your watches and you're looking at your watch. And then once deadline passed, you'd look across the table and go, okay, what'd you write today? Because there was no internet to find out.
Yeah.
And either he ruined your night by telling you scooped your rear end, or you'd say, oh, well, my story was better than that.
The same thing. We used to sit in the newsroom years ago and watch what the competition did, what CTV did, and back in the day it was A Channel. Now that doesn't happen anymore, for sure.
No, the fun thing about the newspaper era was that when you got a scoop, the other guys all woke up. They got their paper in the morning at the Sun. They got your Edmonton Journal, and you had a scoop on them, and then they had to sit and look at that thing all day long. It took them 24 hours to recover because there was no internet. You couldn't just follow. Now a scoop lasts about 5 minutes because it goes on the internet, and then the other guys say, oh, yeah, we already knew that, and they didn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not as much fun. It was a lot more fun. And the other side was true, too. I spent a lot of days with rocks in my stomach when somebody at the Edmonton Sun on my beat had scooped me. It made you work hard. I'll tell you what, it made you work hard the next day.
And like even like Jonesy would always have something. Like you'd go.
Sometimes it was even true.
That's good. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like there's something. He had so many. It was the old. What was the old line? You want to buy a newspaper, man, just buy a mistake, right? That was the old line years and years ago.
Yeah.
Back pocket, just buy a mistake. So.
Anyhow,
yeah,
we do digress.
Yes. Big one tonight. And the Oilers have played Vegas quite well this year. 2 games, 2 wins. They're close games, but down in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and you were there for that one, correct? Right? Spec that 4-2 win.
Yeah, they're always close games here, and the Oilers do well here.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up yesterday. They've won 7 of their last 10 in this building in regulation, and I believe 4 of the last 6 in the playoffs. So Edmonton has no problem coming in here. And right now, I can't tell you the Oilers are hot because they never put together any kind of streak. They won 1 in a row and played real well in Utah, so they're feeling good. But Vegas isn't. Vegas just came home from Winnipeg. They got beat up there 4-1. They've won 4 out of 14 games. They're scoring twice a night. The power play is no good. They can't keep it out of their net. They're not going well. They got to turn things around here for sure.
So, and I've watched the Vegas games, and I'm trying to piece together like where it's gone south here in the last, as you said, 14 games. They've won the 4 out of the 14. A lot of people, they point their fingers at Mitch Marner. Stone's just come back to the lineup. Eichel's been very cold. Their goaltending has been non-existent. There's a lot of fingers to point their way at this team right now. I mean, have you been watching a lot of these games? What are you seeing? Because they used to scare me, Spec. They scared me. They were bigger, tougher, stronger. They hit. Yeah. I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, they were a big, hard team.
Yeah.
They have lost. Like, remember that 4th line they had with, Carrier's not there anymore. Haig's not there anymore. Nick Waugh's not there anymore. Reeves isn't there anymore. When they were big and strong and hard to play against, that was a tough team. They had better goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I noticed when I was just doing some research yesterday is if you go back 5 years, the previous 5 seasons to this, Vegas's offense ranks out, I think, six, tied for 6th in the league goals per game. So they're a top echelon scoring team. This year, they're like 19th. So the scoring's down for sure. I say that's got a lot to do with Pietrangelo not being here.
Yes.
I think that's a guy that if you had to pick one player that's, that guy just drove the bus, right? It's like taking Bouchard off the Oilers.
And then
Pietrangelo to me is one of I had him on my Norris ballot probably 7 or 8 times, never first, but always top 5 in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hurting them. And their goaltending. They don't have, This team's been pretty hard on goaltenders over the year. They've run through a whole bunch of them, and they're down to, who do they got here? Kira Schmid
and Hill.
And Aiden Hill, excuse me, Aiden Hill. And I mean, neither of those guys scares anybody, and neither of those guys is playing particularly well. So if you're not scoring enough and you lost your best defenseman and you don't have very good goaltending, that's hard to win hockey games, right?
Schmid's been better than Hill this year. It's not even close. And Hill was the guy that you signed to the long-term contract, and you almost had to after he, won you a Stanley Cup. So, but he has just totally fallen off. Carter Hart was there. He's still injured. So I don't know. Who do you think the Oilers get tonight, Schmid or Hill?
Well, Hill played in, I think Hill played in
three goals
Winnipeg,
on 7
if I'm not
stops or
mistaken.
something like that. Yeah.
Didn't he? I believe he did.
Yeah. 3 goals.
I don't know. You know what? I don't know who you get. If the coach doesn't have a favorite, he's kind of like the guy in Edmonton, just looking for someone to grab the reins and run with it. If you play well tonight, you probably get to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I mean, Edmonton's a little bit ahead because at least Ingram's given you solid starts. I'm not telling you he's been the best goalie in the league or anything, but he's been consistently at a certain level. He's not dipping and going south on you. And now the chore in Edmonton is to see if you can get Jari going here. And he gave you one good game in a row. So why can't you? I think he'll probably play him Saturday. So I don't know who you get, buddy. I don't know who Vegas going to throw at you tonight. No clue.
Yeah. And for Oilers, again, you look at that. We talked about it yesterday, what they're going to do. To me, I think these next 2 games are split. Some people think they're both Ingram. I don't know. Where do you stand on it?
I think you have to seize the opportunity to help Jari to find some traction.
Yeah.
Your team played a good game in front of him, and he delivered, just a nice game. I'm not telling you that he was unbelievably fantastic, but he was pretty good in that game. He led in 2. One of them was total fluke goal that you can't blame a goalie on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need to say, okay, you know what? We got to get this guy going. Like, we got to play him.
Yeah.
You can't waste that start in Utah. So personally, I think they're going to start Ingram tonight. Because I think that was the plan on the road trip. But I'll bet you they come home and start Jari in the day game in Edmonton.
I'm leaning towards a split in this one for sure. Mark Spector with us in Vegas. Hey, there's 3 guys close to 20 goals on the Oilers here, Spec, and Evan Bouchard, he's at 19. Jack Roslovic's at 19. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is 18. So they're close. They should have 6 20-goal scorers. You remember the last time that the Oilers had 6 20-goal scorers? And never mind, it was more than 6 that year.
Well, we got to be going back to the 80s, don't we?
Not quite. It's in the 90s, actually.
Oh, it's in the 90s.
It's in the 90s, which is
early
surprising.
90s with like Vincent Damphus and Murphy and Jelena and all those guys.
Jelena wasn't there, but you got right with Damphus. He had 38. Joe Murphy had 35. Craig Simpson had 24. Scott Mellenby had 23.
Wow.
Peter Klima had 21. That's 5 right there.
So that's got to be like 91.
Yeah, 91, 92 Spec. 3 other guys had 20. And it's Bernie Nichols, Anatoly Semenov, and Kelly Buchberger.
Kelly had 20 that year, eh?
Yeah. And because I didn't make fun of Bucky because he would kill me. But I always said, you're the only guy in NHL history, Bucky, that had a 20-goal season. A 20-goal season. But at your 1,000th game, you never had 100 in the NHL.
Really?
Yeah, he was at 97 or 8, something like that.
Oh,
on his 1,000th
what do you
game.
end up with?
For goals total, Bucky? I don't even know. I'll check on that.
He must have got over 100.
Oh, yeah, he was well over 100. Yeah, well over.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was 1,000th game because he played well over. He was at 1182, finished with 105. But you think about it. So he, like his goals, like, okay, I got him up right now, Spec. He had 5, 2, 3. And then in 91, 92, he had 20.
Wow. What a year.
I know. And then you're thinking, what do we got here, Bucky? And then he went down to 12, which is still, that's a phenomenal year. And he had 11, but then it just goes down, obviously.
Then it was 10 a year. Yeah. Oh, he
not
scored some big playoff goals. He scored a big
Sure he
goal in that Dallas game where they came back.
Yes. He's one of the all-time most favorite Oilers.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Absolutely. In fact, when they do that Wall of Fame the Oilers have, his name we should be coming up to Bucky one of these years.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so that he'd be on there for sure because just
for those trailer commercials alone.
You know, what do you him and Mac T, like, I don't know, man. That is Academy Award winning acting, isn't it?
I turned on the TV the other day. There's Mac T standing there with a big giant like blow up statue of Homer Simpson and Bucky and a bunch of trailers in the background. I'm like, oh my God, did somebody lose a bet here?
Well, obviously they're getting a couple bucks, but they got the one with Harvey the Hound with the tongue, right? With Mac T. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So.
Makes the guy want to go buy a trailer, Kev.
Well, you watch the commercial
just to get those guys off the air.
Oh, yeah, that was a classic. I was watching the other day again. I was like, man, and there's like, how many is there? There's like 3 of them.
I don't know.
At least they're not running the same one all over and over. What's on the go today, Spec? You got the morning skate?
Yeah, actually, an earlier morning skate here. Usually, if they go in the same rink, of course, the home team goes 10:30. The visitors go 11:30. But here, Vegas skates out at Summerlin, their home practice complex there. Mm-hmm. So the Oilers get to go at 10:30 at the big rink, and that's good because it's, I don't know, yesterday it was like 32 degrees here.
Oh, yeah.
It's already hot.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll go nice and early at 10:30, get the skate in, and then I don't know what a guy does during the day here. A little bit of writing, a little bit of work. I'm probably not sitting around the pool at 32 degrees, or I'd look like a goal light by the time the game started.
No, you look like Gene. That's all. You look good.
Yeah, no. Gene gets brown.
Stacy texts in and says, "Ask Beck how the Park MGM is treating him. I can tell it's by the ugly puke green in the background."
It is the Park MGM. Yeah, and it's you know what? It's a hotel.
Yeah. HVAC Nick says, "What do you mean his bagel? Spec is already on the strip drinking his Fat Tuesday alcoholic Slurpee."
Yeah, no. Did take a nice long walk last night. It was like 27 degrees after dinner here. So I saw Jack Michaels and his beautiful wife Emily out in the strip having a nice walking around. Good. Bunch of people in Oilers jerseys.
Yeah,
I think there might be an Oilers Nation thing here. Is there?
Yeah.
One of those trips?
Yeah, Duke says Tyler Yaremchuk and the guys from Oilers Nation.
And the boys are here. Yeah, I didn't get one in with them last night, but I'm sure they'll be loud and proud tonight. It's always a good place. There's always lots of Oilers fans here. Always lots.
Quick one that I don't know the answer to this. IMAX says, who were Bucky's line mates that year he scored 20, Spec? We looking like maybe Semenov. That I'm just trying. Marty Jelena, maybe.
Yeah. Jeez, I don't know. I mean,
Joe Baranek. He could
have been that. I don't know. You know what? I don't know.
Maybe it was Mark Lamb.
Yeah, that sounds like a guy. Could have been Mark Lamb for sure.
Semenov, maybe.
Sorry,
Semenov. I mean, I'm just looking at the centers. You know, so like, I mean, it's obviously wasn't Vinny Damphus.
Lamb would have been a centerman.
Yeah,
Lamb would have been a centerman. They were
maybe it's Semenov, maybe someone like that.
Yeah, who knows? I remember Tony Semenov. He was a good old Oiler.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know. I'll check. I'll find out for you.
He was old Russian. He was one of the last guys that he was like. He came here. He was old Russian. He played had spent a little time with the national team with Tikhonov, and he approached the game like the old 72 Russians did. You know, he played a certain way, and he was a good guy. Like Tony Semenov a lot.
Spec, good stuff. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Or are you okay for tomorrow, or are you traveling?
No, I think I'm not. But I'll send you a text. Let me look at my thing here.
Sounds good, Spec.
I think I'm flying early.
Okay, bud.
Good. Sounds good, Kev.
On the mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC, powered by Northgate. This truck's for you. When we come back, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Presented by Sports Select.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you need it immediately with no overtime rates, if you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 8:21 in Edmonton, and time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the plumber to call when the toilet mysteriously breaks after your jalapeno pepper popper fueled game night with the fellas. That's mrrooter.ca. As we welcome back Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank.
How you doing, Kevin?
Doing great. A lot of comments after our conversation on Tuesday, Frank. I was telling you about our text line.
Yeah.
Went bananas.
I thought about that conversation for a while on Tuesday.
Me too. I did too.
Not to say that you were living rent-free in my head, but I think part of where maybe some of the frustration came from, and I'm just guessing because we didn't talk about this offline, is conflating two separate things that have happened, at least from a national perspective, over the last number of weeks. And that Tristan Jarry, quote unquote, incident that never really happened, that was from people trying to invent something from afar that aren't in the room and don't have a sense of it. And this was something totally different. Do you think, is there any chance that maybe those two things blended together?
Well, I and plus Leon too, I think. So you're looking at a few things, and maybe, I probably got my back up. I would say I did. And I think you got your back up, and we're both trying to relay our points. And I think, to be honest with you, Frank, I think a lot of it was got carried away, and it got blown out of proportion, the whole thing with Connor on Saturday. And I think and you obviously listened to John Cooper on TNT the other night when Anson Carter asked him that question.
I actually did not see the clip.
So if you see that clip, you'll go, okay, like John Cooper's going, people are reading too much into this, and that's where I was.
What else is he going to say? What's he going to say? No, the best player in the world's trying to torch his coach. What's Connor going to say when he's walking it back on Monday? Like,
but
I refuse to acknowledge or accept that this was made too big a deal. Again, my comparison is this: if a star quarterback in the NFL does this after a game on Sunday, if a top end NBA player does this, the best player in the world does this, it's talked about all week. There's not too much made of this. This was a significant moment. And as we look back on this Edmonton Oilers season, it will be a significant moment on this season.
And it could
I
be.
don't want to relitigate it. I'm just saying, not too much was made of this. It's not often that Connor McDavid speaks up, and it's not often that he says something like that.
Connor's done millions of interviews, Frank. If he felt that he was saying anything that if he woke up the next day, it would turn into what it was and what it ended up to be, he would have said during that interview, hang on here. Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying that John Cooper's the greatest coach and he's way better than our coach and our coach stinks. If he would have thought that that's how people would have thought his comments were parlayed, he would have stepped back on it that night, even, Frank, because he didn't think that that's what there's no way that he went into the answering those questions that he was coming across as being a premeditated answer to be detrimental towards his team and his coach. There's no way that would happen.
Okay. So what were Leon Draisaitl's comments earlier this season? They weren't directed directly, squarely at Chris Knobloch?
Again, Connor's done millions of interviews, and I think he would have said something that night if he felt that it was going to turn into what it is. And then to the media standpoint, if everyone thought it was such a big deal after he said it, Frank, there were no follow-up questions that night. There was not a follow-up.
I can't help that part. I'm not there.
Well, would you have said, if you were in the scrum, Frank, you would have said, so Connor, you are saying this and that, and you are throwing shade.
I would have asked, hey, what exactly in relation to, as you're mentioning all these things, gushing, glowing things about John Cooper, is that related to at all the coaching job that Chris Knobloch has done here?
And that's perfect. If that question would have been asked, Connor's answer would have been, I would bet that it would have snuffed everything out and it would have been put to bed that night.
Was some form of the next question, though, about the Oilers coaching? I seem to remember some of the commentary that followed, and the first words out of his mouth were something along the lines of, I don't know, you'll have to talk to quote Knobber about that. That's exactly what he said. There was some string of that was related to it and brought it back to Edmonton.
If there were a rift that wouldn't be able to be patched up here, then things would have been changed by now. Would have been changed weeks ago.
Maybe. And I'm not saying that there is a rift. I'm just saying that the comments were notable and significant. That's all. We don't need to hammer it out again for another 15 minutes. It's just,
I'm fine.
I think it's a moment of inflection on this Edmonton Oilers season, and on frankly a larger scale, Connor McDavid's future in Edmonton. I really do.
So you want to go down that path and talk about his future in Edmonton?
Well, let's say the quiet part out loud first, which is part of the reason why people in Edmonton get their back up when seeing those comments and the deal that's made of them, is because everyone is understandably very protective of a player who has made Edmonton his home, has, put Edmonton back on the map in terms of being one of the best hockey markets on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of sensitivity that comes with that based on how Edmonton as a whole views itself in relation to the rest of the league and the world.
So like John Cooper's comments on Tuesday night, he says that Connor loves it here.
I think that's true and accurate. But I also think that when he gets to this point and the Oilers have played as poorly as they have, as the talent has devolved around them, as there's not much by way of a future pipeline or next draft picks, prospect, any hope of future stars coming, plus the moves that have been made this season that have further hampered that future in relation to Tristan Jarry and net. That's the frustration that I think you see pouring out. It's not so much to crush Chris Knobloch. It's more so just there's a lot happening here and a lot that's piled up on top of a very emotional Olympics a month ago
for sure,
where he came up short again.
And he, as you say, he's frustrated. So you're saying that when you talk about all those other things, so then do you think Connor's comments are pointed towards management then more so to Knobloch?
I think it's pointed at everything. I think he's frustrated with himself. I think he's frustrated with this team. I think he's frustrated with the direction and where it's going. I think he's frustrated with the moves that have been made by management. I'm sure there's some ounce of frustration in there in terms of the coaching staff and how they go about their business. And here's the thing, and I think this is a really important thing for balance and to really have a true conversation about this, is that when Connor McDavid is alone with his thoughts at the end of the night, is he blaming everyone else, or is he sitting there asking himself how he can be better? I believe the answer is the latter.
For sure it is.
If it's the former, we're having a whole different type of conversation. So I don't think he's playing the blame game. I'm saying part of what you saw on Saturday was the buildup of a lot of different frustration that came out in a way that was probably unintended.
Frustration's the key word here. The one thing that I will say here, Frank, that Connor realizes that, and this is on topic a little bit here, what we're talking, but also different. Connor would say that since he's arrived here and since they've been in the playoffs, they have never had an easier path to the Western Conference final than what is in front of them here. And I think
also part of what adds to the frustration is that this Ducks team has gone 16-3 in games beyond regulation. They're ahead of them in the standings. Also 8-0 in the shootout. So what I'm saying, and if you want to cut through my words, is they've not been a very good team through 60 minutes. The Vegas Golden Knights are 5-10 in their last 15. They've trailed for the totality of 31 complete games on the schedule. And everyone else around them has been stuck in the same malaise that the Oilers have been in. The Kings, the Kraken, the Sharks. No one's willing to step up to win the second wild card spot. And so if you want to look at it that way, that's one way. But I would choose to look at it a different viewpoint and direction, which is everything that the Edmonton Oilers want to accomplish is still right in front of them.
Exactly.
They still have a very clear, and I don't want to say easy, but this is their easiest path to get back to the West Final that they've had since he got here. And so as much as this season has gone the wrong way, there's still lots of time and ability to salvage it.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly how I kind of started our little conversation here in the last question or conversation. But this team right now still needs to find a goaltender that is going to be average and a little bit above average, and they can get by with that until the real bullets start flying against an opponent that is a little bit more worthy of what's in the Pacific. Everyone knows that. Do you think that this team can get back to the Stanley Cup final?
I do. I see a path. Like, everyone needs to be healthy. This defense needs to come together in a way that it hasn't yet so far. There's not been nearly enough connective tissue. The way that they move the puck and defend needs to improve. I think they're fully capable of competing. And I think what you do as you take care of your own business is sit back and watch first Dallas and Minnesota slug it out. And then the second round matchup of Colorado and whoever prevails, likely Dallas, based on the math today, and watch those two teams go toe to toe and see if, one could, take a chunk out of the other and see if that provides any opening. Remember a couple years ago when the Oilers first went and won against Dallas, Remember how depleted Dallas's defense was at that juncture? They were basically down to 5 guys.
Yeah.
So then last year, they just straight up beat them. And I think this team, one of the best things that it has going for it is they have a playoff know-how, and it was fully on display against the LA Kings last year. They got one window of opportunity in a moment when they probably should have been dead and buried with that coach's challenge, and they took advantage in a big way, and it was lights out from there on.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to flip the switch. They get some of their best performances from their best players when it matters most, which is why I try to not put too much stock into the regular season as a whole, whether it's Florida or Edmonton or these teams, Tampa in some respects, that have gotten to or close to the precipice, that all that matters is what happens when you begin playing for keeps. Doesn't really matter your seed, your standing, who has home ice, what your path or route is. Just can you play best when it matters most?
As I said, Frank, and when the top 6 here buys in defensively like they buy in offensively, this team can go all the way. If they don't, the team will be what it's been the last 2 years and will be close. We'll show flashes. We'll show parts of games, parts of a series where they can be better than anyone they're playing. But until they have that total buy-in defensively with all the components we talk about, will, everything, all those things, the urgency, the guts, everything defensively like they do offensively, we'll be talking about this team like we have been for the last 2 years. I wanted to ask you.
Wait, can I just clarify? When you say that, do you mean top 6 defensive?
Top 6. No, top 6. The top 6. Okay. So if it's when Leon comes back here, and Leon is going to be centering the second line. So it's going to be Connor and let's call it Savoy and Zach Hyman. Whoever is going to be with Leon, if it's Roslovic and Podkolzin, and Podkolzin's very responsibly defensively.
Yep.
Until those top 6 guys play as hard, play as smart, play with awareness, play with creativity, all those things, all the qualities, adjectives, verbs you want to use that they do when they are in the offensive zone or trying to create offense. When they change that persona and do all those things defensively, that is when they will be successful.
It's funny. I just see it the total opposite way. I think this team has it figured out from a forward standpoint. Someone like Podkolzin is the poster child for how this team is going to be successful. And I don't really think or worry about their forward group really much at all. It's how this team plays in their own end, how they can help their goaltender, and how efficiently they can get the puck from their defense to their forwards that is going to define their playoff success. I think it all centers around what happens in their own end first. And I know you're saying a part of that, of course, is the forwards playing defense and the total commitment. But this defense on paper should have been the best that they've had in the McDavid-Draisaitl era from 1 to 6. And it hasn't even been close.
If you go back, Frank, to the Stanley Cup final last year and everything, it's 2-2 and everything it's looking pretty good. You got a best of 3. And you have home ice, and you think about how the Oilers lost those games. And look at the goal that Matthew Tkachuk scored when Connor McDavid going back into his own zone. All he's got to do is quick shoulder check, and he's got Matthew Tkachuk in his back pocket. Instead, he chases the puck. 2 seconds later, puck's back to Tkachuk. Goal, deflation. I mean, it's 2-0 at that point. Those are the things that I'm talking about, Frank. Those are the things. It's small, detailed awareness of the top 6 in their defensive zone, coverage, everything that I just mentioned in the last statement. Those are the things that they have to do where they are aware and creating and magic in the offensive zone. They have to bring all those things defensively, and then they'll be successful.
It's a tall task.
Hey, the one question I had on Tuesday, I wanted to ask you about James Hagan and his situation. Like, is it similar to Charlie McAvoy a few years ago then, or what?
Similar, yes. The Bruins really have a design pecking order. They don't believe in just bringing players right into the NHL. from Patrice Bergeron to David Pasternak to Charlie McAvoy himself, their preferred method is everyone starts, no matter how good, how high of a draft pick, that you start in Providence. And I understand that notion James Higgins has bought in. And frankly, he's also shouldering a lot of risk that people haven't mentioned or talked about, because we know that the entry-level contract is coming, likely even at some point this year. Like, I believe James Higgins will sign this season and play for the Boston Bruins in the playoffs. But what happens if playing last night for Providence, he blows out his knee and it's a career-ending injury?
Yeah.
He will have gotten exactly $0. And that risk factor, which the Bruins, clearly understand that they're asking for, to do it this way and to sign a tryout agreement first. I've had a few agents mention to me in the last 24 to 48 hours, like, I don't know if you guys are mentioning or talking about this nearly enough.
Hey, one last one, Frank. Just what do we got? 13 games tonight. There's so many big ones, like with Columbus and Montreal and even Pittsburgh, Ottawa. I mean, is there one game in particular? I mean, you've got to be just Rick Bowness. How many votes is he going to get for Coach of the Year here, Frank?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, because I think what everyone's wrestling with is 35 games enough to win Coach of the Year? I think the game that I'm looking for tonight, it's two, and they go hand in hand, but Nashville and New Jersey, and then the Kings in Van. If LA can win and Nashville loses, I believe schedule-wise and analytically that the LA Kings are in the driver's seat to win that last playoff spot.
Wow. Lots to unfold and lots to unpack, in the sense that we're going to have a great race with several spots. Frank, thanks. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Yeah, and just always appreciate the respect, the mutual respect that we have. I know people watched or listened to Tuesday's segment. They were like, look at these two guys at each other's throats. Like, it all comes from a place of mutual respect.
Exactly. And that we had some texts and back and forth, and for sure. And I mean,
we all agreed. What would be the point of doing this?
Exactly, Frank.
Supposed to talk and have fun and challenge each other, but
the best part.
A place where everyone cares.
How many times, I've asked you something, you said, well, this is bad radio, but I agree, or I've said this is bad radio and I agree with what you're saying. So for us to talk about this, it's not like we're
we're not solving the world's problems here. We're just talking
throwing axes at each other here. Well, I wouldn't mind, but see you, Frank.
We'll do that over a beer.
Yeah, and the golf course. Have a good one, Frank. Thanks, man. Have a good one. Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV, and the headliner of the day, brought to you by number one overall pick in your fantasy plumbing pool. That's Mr. Rooter. Check him out at mrrooter.ca. Text 833-401-1440. We'll get to some of them when we come back. Declan Kruger from the Lowdown with Low Tide. We'll check in at 9 o'clock. We've got Jesse Granger in the 10 o'clock hour. Hey, going in or out with the Duke on a Thursday. We're going to be going out in or out lots here, Duke, in the next little bit, huh?
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
Kev.
You know what? Next Friday that's Good Friday.
Next Friday, I thought there was next Friday I'm going to be away, which I guess you are.
It's Good Friday, correct?
I don't know.
But you're not here?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Well, it's if it's Good Friday, I assume we're not working.
Well, we've got to figure this out, because I was going to say, you know what? With Laddie not here, maybe Eddie will come in on Thursday.
Hey, I'm game for whatever. I just show up when I'm told to. Easter, we've talked about this. I think it's a joke.
What do you mean?
That it's not
a 4-day weekend.
No, that it's not the same day every year. 4-day weekend. No, Kevin, those are the kind of qualms that you have with holidays.
Well, because a lot of people get Easter Monday off, Duke.
So maybe Josh could speak to this more than you, Kev. Not necessarily in a slight at you. Just we grew up in different generations. Did we not get Monday off in school for Easter, or was that just rolled into
the Easter
break?
Yeah, the Easter break.
Yeah.
So that's what it would have been.
But then I'm trying to think about even in university, because we would have reading week, but that was in February.
Correct.
And that we wouldn't get another full week off in spring, like at Easter. But I'm pretty sure we'd have Easter Monday off. So I don't know.
Well, I think it would have been part of the Easter break. I don't know, Josh.
Yeah, but
what do you recall? I mean,
what do you mean Easter break, Kevin? Like, we're not, like I said, we didn't get another whole week off in April.
I thought when I was in school, we had a whole week off.
We got 4 days off.
Friday through Monday.
No,
Yeah.
we had a week
Monday.
off in school.
What could have been? I know sometimes it did like meld into each other though. Like Brandon's right. Sometimes because Easter changes every year, spring break was an extra day because you get Easter Monday off.
Yeah. I don't know, but like if you think about all the like businesses are open probably on both days now. A lot of them.
Well, yeah, like everything's open on holidays now, so I'm sure there are. But banks, there probably aren't very many banks open on Good Friday.
Yeah.
But Monday for sure, I would think.
Banks.
More banks or government type operations or traditional facilities. More of them are open on Monday, but I still think the vast majority would be closed on Friday, Good Friday.
Mm-hmm. Well, all I know, Duke, I think we're off next Friday. Is it the 3rd?
That sounds right.
So maybe Eddie will come in on Thursday.
The 2nd.
Yeah, the Thursday, the 2nd, right?
Mm-hmm. If he wants.
I don't know.
It's Eddie's world. We're just living in it.
I bet he does.
He'll miss us too much.
When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio, presented by Sports Select. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhock beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhock beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best Junior Hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the center bar. Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
For almost half a century, families, farmers, and mechanics across Alberta have trusted Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Why? Because we know cars and we know value. Hi, Lisa here. And whether it's keeping your work truck hauling or getting your teenager's first car back on the road, Ed's has the parts you need at prices you can afford. Reliable, affordable, local. That's Ed's Auto Salvage. With province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton, visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
If you're coming with me, you need nerves.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
Back to the big program. Quick little segment before we get to Declan Kruger at the top of the hour. The Kevin Karius Show is presented by Sports Select. It's easy to play. Just visit sportselect.com, generate a QR code. Just check the how to play videos. It's a step-by-step instruction. Check it out at sportselect.com. 100% legal. You got to be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Well, Duke, just kind of looking over the fantasy frenzy bracket, because we've got Declan coming in, and I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about it. Declan, it seems to me that he is in, what position is he in? 10th spot at 470.
Okay.
So Johnny T and Matt Bushnell leading the way at 520.
Leading the way.
Both have Duke. And who did you have? Duke? Oh, you had
right.
Florida.
The Gators.
Florida. So it's done, right? You're done.
Yeah, I'm dead. I'm done.
Only one dummy took Purdue. No, there's more. MTR took. Is MTR's real? Is that his real name that comes up?
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know if you don't want to
I'm
dox him.
not going to say who it is, but I will tell you that he had the best icon for our baseball draft last night, Duke.
Yeah, his fantasy baseball team, the avatar is Kevin Karius' Twitter profile picture.
From
is Kevin Karius circa 2007.
Looks good too, Duke, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's hard to tell it's the same guy.
Oh, yeah. So, I was like, Frank and I, people text in and they go, why are you guys fighting and this and that? We're not fighting. We're just having a casual conversation.
Spirited conversation.
I mean, Frank has his take on this, and we have people saying, I agree with Frank, and some people go in and saying that it's being made too big of a deal. On Monday, Duke, you used the word frustration.
Yeah.
And that was the word that, continuing when we talk about this subject, to be honest with you, we've talked about it to death here, and probably too much. I have a hard time believing that Connor McDavid would go into a post-game scrum where you lost 2 games in a row now to the Florida teams. You didn't show up Thursday. You were okay against Tampa Bay, and to be honest with you, you had a chance to win the game. You're down 3-2, and you're up with a power play, not up in the game, but you have a chance to tie it as well for $1.15, a 5-on-3. You're right there with Tampa Bay, who most people think is the best team in the East. And you're right there. So he's frustrated with the losing. He's frustrated where they are. But there's no way that he would go into that and say and start with those comments, especially when you listen to John Cooper and listen to what Vladdy said, what Ladislav Schmid said. I mean, I wonder how Frank would address Laddie, being a former player and being a guy that knows what it's like. Like, I mean, Laddie's comments were, he was pissed off at Craig Button, pissed off at Frank in that sense. So I think we've spoken way too much about this subject, but it's something that Frank, and Frank and I were texting each other after the show on Tuesday. There's no animosity between the two of us. As Frank said, I respect Frank for, like, people don't understand the amount of work that these insiders put in as far as, on their phones, texting, calling, between agents, executives, GMs. As Frank said to me, he's not pulling information just out of the thin air here. There's a way that he and Elliot Friedman and all these other guys go about it. And to be honest with you, the people that think they are insiders, they are not even close. If you listen and talk to guys like Frank off the record about information and intel, the people that are out there that you see that pony these guys, it's frankly embarrassing. The amount of information that they steal and basically say to their followers and make it come across as their own, it really is embarrassing. 833-401-1440. Penn Old Ryan, as a former RDTV alumni, I appreciate the banter on Tuesday and today. There needs to be more of it, both professional opinions and not have valid points. It was good radio. And again, I just thought, his perspective is there. My perspective is there. And Big D, Dennis, I agree with you. It's time to move on. Time to move on. You betcha. MTR says that is his last name. He's come in. And MTR, I don't know how you got that icon on there. I mean, that probably was a lot.
What do you mean how, Kevin? Not everybody views what happens on their phone or computer as science fiction. That would have taken him a grand total of 30 seconds.
Really?
Yes.
So I've got to get a new icon then.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put your Twitter thing on.
Okay, then everyone's going to be confused about what team's what. Your team's name is Mickey's Mantle.
If I could find a picture of MTR.
You should have a picture of Mickey Mantle as your...
I should. Yeah. You know what? What if I found...
Mickey Mantle dunking his donut.
Oh, that was Joe DiMaggio.
All right. Mickey Mantle's the one who Kramer punched in the face.
Yeah, at the fantasy camp. Yeah.
You killed Mickey.
Yeah. Well, Moose, whatever his last Moose Squirrel, grabbed me from behind, and then all of a sudden I swung and I hit Mickey. Oh man! And then what's the line after? He should be having a fantasy cramp.
Yeah. His life's a fantasy camp.
Exactly.
Yeah, people should pay to come up and live like Kramer.
And that was the George when he's leaving because he's got the best line. I'm out.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm out. Top of the hour, Declan Kruger will check in. We'll talk a little March Madness, maybe a little Elks. They had Terrell Ford on, Declan and Eddie Steele earlier this week. So we'll discuss a few things with old Deck when we come back. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunications, and street lighting. That's All Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Two games in the NHL last night. The Sabres pick up a big extra point. Bruins pick up a big extra point in their 4-3 overtime win over the Sabres. Give themselves a little breathing room in wildcard one spot in the Eastern Conference playoff race. And Toronto defeated the Rangers 4-3. The loss officially eliminating New York from playoff contention. In the PWHL, Montreal shutting out Minnesota 3-0. And Seattle beat New York 4-1. Alberta Junior Hockey League playoffs continuing. Grand Prairie finishes off the sweep of Lloydminster with a 5-3 win. Camrose takes a 3-1 series lead over Drumheller with a 6-0 shutout victory. Whitecourt beat Fort McMurray 5-3, and Calgary topped Canmore 7-5. In the association, busy night, including the Raptors falling in LA to the Clippers 119-94. Former Rap Kawhi Leonard with 27 points for LA. Elsewhere, Golden State beat Brooklyn 109-106. Canadian Jamal Murray with 53 points as Denver gets past Dallas in a high-scoring affair 142-135, and Boston with a big victory over the OKC Thunder, 119-109. Major League Baseball opening night saw the Yankees with a big win, 7-0 over the Giants from San Francisco. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Declan Kruger from the Lowdown with Low Tide, and we'll check in with a new edition of In or Out. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:01 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio, presented by Sports Select. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. March Madness gets back in the saddle here with the Sweet 16 games today and tomorrow, and we're going to talk some hoops and maybe little Elks with Declan Kruger from the Lowdown with Low Tide as we welcome in Big Deck. Good morning, Deck. How's you going, big guy?
Doing excellent. Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. I appreciate it. This is always a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, looking forward to this. Hey, first, you know what? I was looking at the game times for today, and the one thing that I do like earlier in the rounds, like, last week, I wish that these games would start a little bit earlier so they weren't like stagger them a bit more instead of having, 2 on basically at the same time. I'm sure as a basketball fan, you'd like to see that as well.
No, of course, yeah, for sure. Like it makes sense earlier in the tournament, obviously, because there are so many games going on. You got to kind of all get them in there. But this is a chance, like, we can really highlight some great basketball. Because the thing is, like, as the tournament gets going, the basketball gets higher level. Like, say what you will about not liking the lack of upsets as the tournament gets going or whatever it is, but the basketball certainly gets better. So a chance to spread out the games and actually get to sit there and watch all the games, like, I think it would do wonders for a tournament like this. But is what it is, and I'm going to enjoy it anyway.
You betcha. So, Sweet 16 today. Let's start with the first game, Texas and Purdue. Did you have Texas getting to the Sweet 16? And what's your take on this game? Because they're going to be tough against the Boilermakers here.
Yeah, no, I didn't have Texas making the Sweet 16, but I will say I think they had probably the most favorable draw out of any 11 seed. Like that BYU team obviously had no Richie Saunders. It was kind of AJ DeBonsa versus the world. And then Gonzaga, they had that pretty record, 30-3 this year, obviously won the WCC. But again, you played that game you played against Michigan was the best team you played all year. You lost by 40. You lost to Portland, which I think was a quad 4 loss in league play. Like they were just so, for lack of better words, fraudulent. I'm not trying to turn a question about Texas into taking shots about Gonzaga, but it was just such a favorable bracket for Texas as that 11 seed. And the stat is, often you get one of those first 4 teams into the Sweet 16, and it's often one of those 11 seeds because they get that favorable bracket. It was Texas this year, but they're facing a Purdue team that's firing on all cylinders. Like Braden Smith, what he does as a floor general, the way he leads that team, the way he kind of commands the offense. Like Purdue, they were the number 1 preseason team coming in, and I've kind of made this point, they're a team that's pretty much done everything. Like a group of seniors, they've played all together. It's a senior-laden group, and they've done everything except win a national title. And so during the season, I think you can kind of get complacent a little bit, and that can kind of lead to some of the losses you shouldn't have there. I think that's what we saw from this Purdue team, but they win the Big Ten. They beat Michigan, and made it look kind of easy against a really good Michigan team. Like Michigan looked really out of it in that Big Ten championship game. And then Texas was awesome. It was great to see them, get in. They had good net rating, everything like that. But this is just kind of one of those games where the buck stops playing one of those 2 seeds that's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I didn't think Gonzaga played very well against Texas either in that matchup in round number 2. Do you think Purdue, Declan, has – and we're getting ahead of ourselves, assuming Arizona beats Arkansas. Do you think Purdue's got enough to get past Arizona?
Arizona, I just think is such a bad matchup for them. Arizona, I don't want to call them a boring team, but I'll use boring for lack of better words. They don't shoot a lot of threes. When they shoot the threes, they hit it at a fine clip, but they don't shoot a lot. They get a lot inside. They play really responsibly. They use their size to frustrate you. They have great length too on defense. Purdue is a team that, Matt Painter's always got. I think one thing for Matt Painter, Purdue's head coach, he's kind of gotten criticized a little bit too much for trying to be too fancy with his offenses. And for years it was Matt, you have Zach Edey, who's 7'4". No one in the college game can guard him. Just get him the ball, man. We don't need to run 17 back screen. Just get Zach Edey the ball. It's fine. And I think the way Arizona kind of simplifies things and kind of just gets everything inside, obviously how they play defensively, I think it's a really bad matchup for Purdue. Listen, Purdue's obviously playing the best ball they've played all season. They found their own. They're coming into their own, and anything can happen in the tournament, especially when you get 2 high-level teams like that. But I do think Arizona is one of those, like the Ken Palm numbers, they were above 35, one of those historic rankings. They're a good defensive team. I think they're a top 3 defensive team in the country in Ken Palm as well. So I just think it's a really bad matchup for Purdue. There are some 2 seeds I like. I like Iowa State's potential against Michigan. I would have loved Houston against Florida. Obviously, Florida's out. But I don't love Purdue against Arizona as much.
Right. Declan Kruger with us on the Kevin Karius Show. You hear him daily with the Lowdown with Low Tide, 12 to 2 right here on Sports 1440, our resident basketball expert. Nebraska and Iowa, I mean, it's such a – both teams have interesting stories going into this one. Obviously, with Iowa upsetting the defending champion Florida Gators, Nebraska winning the first 2 NCAA tournament games ever. Can Iowa keep this train rolling here, Declan?
Well, I think it's important to note that Iowa's probably, at least in theory, going to have the best player on the court, which in basketball, basketball is such an individually dominated game. Anytime you have less so in the college game, but anytime you have the best player on the court, and I think Iowa does in Bennett Sturtz, that is going to carry some weight, and they're going to have a chance. Now, Fred Hoiberg for Nebraska, he's an incredible coach. He was an incredible coach at Iowa State. Didn't do well in the NBA. Was bad in Chicago. Optically, it was terrible. But came back to Nebraska and obviously has them in this position. I think they were the 3rd last undefeated team this year. Excuse me. They were They were the 8th ranked team in the country at some point. He has done an incredible job. So it's a tough one to say because Iowa, Nebraska is also kind of one of those ones where you throw at the record books, and I've seen some jokes making their way out there on the social media landscape, like the UN's going to have to deploy peacekeepers for this game. It's going to look like a Balkan soccer match, things like that. So it is kind of one of those games where you say, hey, hold up a second, throw at the record books. I do think Nebraska, better coached, better, more well-rounded roster, kind of. And then if you want to, go this direction, they're kind of better in every analytical department. So I obviously lean Nebraska, but to just circle back to what you initially asked, like anytime in a basketball game you have the best player on the court, which you're supposed to have in Bennett Sturts. I know he went 0 for 9 from 3 against Florida and they still won. You're gonna be in that game in some capacity.
I would imagine you're thinking that Jaden Bradley will be a lot better, and all of Arizona will be a lot better than they were against Utah State, against Arkansas. So you would think Arizona would win this game, Declan?
Yeah, I think so. But man, I got to tell you, like, because I was kind of I pre-prepped a question you might have asked me about who the breakout player of the tournament was, and I was going to answer Darius Acuff. Like, anyone who watched college basketball this year knew how good Darius Acuff was, but he obviously had that 36-pointer against High Point. He had 24 against Hawaii, and probably could have had more. Like, similar to what I just said. Like, he's not just like gonna be good, like great prospect showing flashes. Like, he's that guy right now where he can just go out and get anything he wants. But again, like Arizona, I just think they're so defensively sound as a unit, and they collapse really well. And one thing Arkansas does is because Darius Acuff is this good, they put him in a lot of high pick and rolls and just let him attack the basket. And he's so fast, he's so skilled as a finisher at the rim. It usually works out for him. But Arizona, like, they collapse very well. Like, their defense shrinks. I think that's going to give them problems. And like, if Arizona, here's the other thing, like, even if Arizona plays sound defensively, I really struggled with that one, and says we're going to let Darius Acuff get his, and they're going to try and make everyone else beat you. Like, yeah, maybe Darius Acuff can pick your player from Arizona, maybe Bradley, Pete, like whoever. Maybe he can beat them one-on-one. And if you're Arizona, you live with that. But can Arkansas beat us 5-on-5? Probably not. And if Arkansas can't beat us 5-on-5, we are just going to do what we do, get everything inside, play sound, fundamental offensive basketball. I think that's going to be Arizona's key to victory. It's a little counterintuitive to what I just said about Bennett Sturts and Iowa, but it is also two different teams.
Declan Kruger with us on the Kevin Karius Show here in Sports 1440. The last one, Illinois and Houston. I got Houston going all the way. So obviously I need a big game from Houston here over Illinois.
Yeah, I love Coach Sampson at Houston. I love, like, Houston has been, I think this is their 7th or 8th straight Sweet 16 or something like that. Like, they've just been such a staple here in the last little decade or whatever it is. They always play such sound, fundamental defensive basketball. Like, it's really, it can be a little boring to watch but if you appreciate basketball and you appreciate defensive half court sets, like what Houston does all the time and the way they trap around the midcourt, like it's really, really pretty to watch. Illinois is a good team as well. Like, don't get me wrong. Illinois, I think they were a top 5 team at one point this year. Like, Vakaitis, he's their leading scorer this year. He's a guy who can really go get his at the college game. But I just think, like, the way Kelvin Sampson game plans, like what they do defensively, Houston's going to be a little too much for them. And also, I just feel like at some point, destiny has to catch up to Kelvin Sampson. I don't know if it is this year, but at some point, it's like, man, you've been so close. You're I would say, outside of Mark Few and Gonzaga and what he's built there, you're the best coach in college basketball without a national championship. Like, at some point, the chips have to go all in, and you have to have the 4 aces at the end of the hand. Again, I don't know if it's this year, but this Illinois game doesn't seem to me to be one where they would trip themselves up.
Hey, tomorrow, Dick. I had Tennessee going to the Sweet 16 in my bracket.
Rick Barnes and the what a show, man! I absolutely did not. I liked that Virginia team. They played Duke tough in the ACC tournament. 29 wins is no small feat, but good for you. Like, I actually had Tennessee losing to Miami of Ohio just because I loved that story so much. Like, they were so much fun. But good. What a show! Rick Barnes and the Volunteers.
But the run probably ends tomorrow against Iowa State, which. Again, with Iowa, Paul Sir, he texted me on Sunday night. He was so happy that everything's going right for him in Iowa.
Yeah, I think Iowa State is like, hey, keep your eye on them. There's I don't know if it was Rick Barnes. I don't know who said it, but one of the coaches in the tournament said, Otzelberger, who's their head coach, he could take 5 guys from LA Fitness and in an hour and a half, they would be a top 10 defensive team in the country. And I know I just kind of hammered the defensive thing home about Houston and even Arizona, the way they collapse at the rim. But yeah, Iowa State, like keep your eye on them, man. They were number 2 in the country at one point this year. Like, a Michigan game's going to be tough, but they're for real. I really, really like Iowa State.
Hey, Dick, I was doing some research it was actually Monday, Tuesday, when I was looking at some sites about re-ranking and doing power rankings after the first 2 rounds. And a lot of people had Duke fallen down even to 4. So I don't know if you're along those lines. Can St. John's pull off an upset against Duke tomorrow?
Yeah, I think they can, but I also think they need to play like a perfect game. Like, St. John's is going to, this I'm going to say it again, and it's going to really start to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, because I'm just talking about St. John's being a sound defensive team, which they are. But people are going to listen and be like, this guy only knows one phrase. He only knows defensive team. But St. John's is a really sound defensive team. But the thing is, like, they will go 8-minute stretches without scoring the basketball. 6-minute stretches without scoring the basketball. Like, they're so frustrating to watch on offense. And, that was fine against Kansas. That was obviously fine in the first round against Northern Iowa. But it kind of like, it's, can you also hold Cam Boozer to not score for 6 minutes? Like, can you hold that Duke offense to also stay stagnant? Like, because St. John's is inevitably going to go on a run where they have 6 minutes where they're 1 for 8 from the floor and have 3 total points. In those 6 minutes, is Duke going to go on a 14-3 run, or can you also hold them to 3-4 points with what you do defensively? Like, maybe they are good enough defensively to do that, but it's just a much tougher task against a guy in Cam Boozer who put up 24 a night this season. It's a much more difficult task against John Shire's offense. I think they can win. If they do win, it's going to be ugly, and they probably wouldn't be my pick.
I watched the Alabama-Texas Tech game on Sunday night, and I like you and everyone else, the way that Alabama chucks the threes, everyone knows that. But if they have
record, I think.
Yeah, it was just unreal. If they have the same kind of success as far as, the amount of threes going in against Michigan as they did against Texas Tech, can they knock off the Wolverines?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They can. Like, I don't want to say Michigan is vulnerable, but I made this point way back it was a hit I did with the Duke, maybe it was January, maybe like early February. And I said, like, Jackson Lendenberg's probably Michigan's best player, but a lot runs through Elliot Cadeau, who's kind of their floor general. And if he's not firing, because he does have kind of moments or stretches or games where he looks a little disengaged, where you can tell like his talent level isn't there with the upper echelon of players who are going to be high in the draft or whatever it may be. And you're just like, I don't, what's this guy doing? So if he can if he falls apart or, gets smothered offensively, and all of a sudden Michigan start to be a little stagnant and Alabama starts hitting those threes you talk about, then yeah, like absolutely, I think Alabama can win that game. Again, I probably wouldn't pick them. I don't think it would be the smart money, but there is no question there's a path to Alabama winning this game. And it's exactly that. It's them firing on all cylinders from 3, and it's Michigan's offense looking a little bit stagnant because Cadeau can't get going.
Mm-hmm. Declan Kruger with us on the Kevin Karius Show here in Sports 1440. I wanted to bust away from hoops and talk a little football and Elks with you and Eddie doing such a great job on Elks Nation. And you had Terrell Ford on earlier this week, Declan, talking about, the brother and coming back and everything. Maybe just give our listeners a little snippet, a little harbinger in that conversation that you and Eddie had with Terrell.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, Terrell came and joined us in studio. It was the second time he's been on the show. We had about a 50-minute, hour-long sit-down with him. And it was really, like, I think one thing we've tried to do at Elks Nation is try to get people invested in the players that are on the team, because I do think there's kind of been a shift in however many years it's been in the CFL. You'll obviously only really see 2-year contracts. There's so much player movement, and credit to the players. Like, I'm glad they're empowered. I'm glad they can make smart financial decisions in free agency, but it kind of gets tough for fans to get behind some players, like it gets tough. It's not the old days, like when Ricky Ray was here forever, or, even a little more recently, like Fred Stamp seemed to be here forever. Gizmo, obviously, like these guys who you can really put on the posters, get their jersey and know he's going to be here season after season. You don't have that as much. So we wanted to really kind of put some personality behind who these guys were. And Terrell came in, and it was like 50 minutes of 3 guys hanging out, just shooting the breeze. And I hope that gets across to the listeners. I hope they feel like they're there with us, just hanging hanging out, like it's just friends having a chat, like getting to know somebody. It was a lot of fun. And what you asked about Trey's departure, he was very open and honest. He said, yeah, listen, like this is a business. I didn't see Trey very much. He went as far as to say Trey probably needed to do his job a little bit better. Now, he also said the defense needed to do their job better. But, yeah, it was just very honest, very open, very candid. It was a lot of fun. And I think, I like to think anyway that we're doing a pretty good job. And we're trying our best to kind of put some personality behind these guys, that they're not just, jersey numbers or names on a depth chart, that there actually is kind of a human there that fans can get behind.
Well, that's the whole thing. And that's why it's going to be successful, Declan, because – when I got here 28 years ago, the media landscape was obviously different, but the stories that were told about the players and everything like that, more so than just a number, that's how you create that bond and a relationship and that connectivity between fan and player. And for many years, from all through COVID, and then even continuing now with the lack of media and the lack of media presence down there, we miss that. We don't see it. So it's a perfect avenue for you and Eddie to bring out those stories. So good on you guys for doing that. You're having fun doing it?
Oh, it's the best. So I'll tell you, sometimes it's a little imposter syndrome. Like Eddie and Terrell will be sitting there talking about, whatever. And I'll just kind of be like, yeah, me too. Right, guys? That's awesome. I'm just chiming in, pretending I'm a part of the game, but it's great fun. I love doing it with Eddie. I always say, like, if Jason ever makes the decision to fire me, just let me do it for free for a little while first. Like I'll do what I have to, because I just love doing it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I think I also, just really quickly, and I don't want to, I think we put on a good show. Like, I got to be honest. I think we put on a really good show. We both, maybe mostly Eddie, but we know what we're talking about. I think we have a lot of fun doing it. I like to think we make it enjoyable. And no one ever wants to be the guy who sits there and says, hey, go listen to my product, or, I'm doing a great job. Because, if you're good, you tell everyone. If you're great, they tell you. But I do think we do a really good show. I honestly do. I don't want to pump our tires too much, but it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. And I think we do a good job.
The good thing is that Eddie's had his breakfast in here before.
Yep.
And you don't have to put up with the pickled eggs on banana bread.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing over there at Sports 1440.
I actually stretched it a bit. Just hard-boiled egg on banana bread. Then he brings in his oatmeal every day. It is absolutely like the smell in the studio. I'm surprised when you guys, it's just rampant. Like it would be like that episode from Seinfeld with the BO in the car. That's what it's like with Eddie and his food in here in the morning.
Man, he's got to get that protein in. Like, I'll have people ask me, like, is he still in good shape? And I'm like, man, he looks like the strongest human I've ever seen still. Like, he's in good shape.
I think if you look, are you going to do anything with the combine this weekend? Are you going to be down?
Yeah,
there?
So we wanted to do a live podcast down from the combine. I don't think Eddie got accredited in time, so I'm still going to be down there. Obviously, I'm going to be covering it for obviously Elks Nation and Sports 1440. Get a chance to get down there tomorrow morning. I don't know if we're going to do anything from the combine in terms of any live podcasting, any live videos, anything like that. But there will be plenty of combine coverage.
If you go back into the combine records, I think Eddie is still T11 in bench press.
He is, 33 reps of 225, tied for 11th. Yeah. We went over that the other day. The all-time record, if you can believe, 47 reps of 225.
Eddie was saying that the guy that had that record isn't exactly playing by the rules.
Oh, okay. He also made a point that he never lasted in the league. And I was like, Eddie, man, it's starting to sound like sour grapes a little bit. Like all you're doing is cutting this guy out from under him. But all right.
Hey, have a great show with Tide today, Declan. Thanks for coming on and giving us an update on Elks Nation, and then also your perspective on the Sweet 16. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Kevin. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Josh. See you guys later.
Yeah, take care. That's Declan Kruger. You hear him daily with Alan Mitchell, the Lowdown with Low Tide, 12 to 2 right here on Sports 1440. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. Duke, in or out at 9:40. Is that what we're... well, that didn't sound very...
Well, we can do it whenever. That's just the standard time we do it, especially when we don't have a co-host in. But if we want to do it next, we can.
No. Well, I don't know.
So we have Jesse Granger at the top of the hour, but with just the two of us, the chances of running long aren't as likely when, we have Eddie in here or Laddie tearing me apart for whatever the flavor of the day is.
I try to get Eddie out at 8:55 every Monday and
You
Friday,
do your best, but he just can't be helped.
He talks and talks. You know what? When we come back, I wouldn't have maybe talk about that broadcast last night on Netflix a little bit. Yankees 7, Giants nothing. Max Fried with a great performance on the hill. Aaron Judge was non-existent. I think he had 3 Ks, at least 4. Golden sombrero. Mustn't have seen the last one, man. He's still wrapped up in the World Baseball Classic and the passion from there. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440. AM Radio, presented by Sports Select. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
The WHL playoffs return to Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Friday, your Edmonton Oil Kings square off with the Saskatoon Blades in Game 1 of their first round series. Then on Family Fun Sunday, your Oil Kings turn up the heat for Game 2 versus Saskatoon.
Plus, at every home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Saskatoon Blades.
Game 1, Friday night at 7. Game 2, Family Fun Sunday afternoon at 2.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Legacy Heating and Cooling sucks. Yeah, Legacy can now suck your ducts with professional duct cleaning, furnace cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you need the filth sucked from your air ducts.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you want cleaner air for your family.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy now offers air duct cleaning. Book in today. Just call Legacy.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters to Central Alberta, like 10 new school projects for a total of 27 underway, redeveloping Red Deer Regional Hospital and investing in more rural family physicians, expanding trades education at Olds College and upgrading facilities at Lakeland College, twinning Highway 11 and expanding Red Deer Regional Airport, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. For more details, visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Got that feeling? The one that makes you want to roll the windows down and just drive? A puddle! That's not just spring fever, that's a sign that it's time to visit Nisku Ford. They've got the cure for your driving fever with their biggest offers of the year. Get rebates as high as $12,000 on select new models, or drive away with 0% interest. Don't just dream about the open road, own it. Find your cure for spring fever at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Kevin Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program, 928 in Edmonton. So glad you're with us here on a Thursday morning. It's been a great week so far, except for the weather, which stinks. Man, the amount of snow, and it's going to snow more, I think, today. But it's cold out. Like, the wind is cold. Man, went for a walk yesterday with Sammy the dog and old Pig Body, and we were out there, and it was freezing, man. Duke, you're not shoveling anything anymore. You don't have to. You don't care.
Brush the
care?
truck off.
Don't
I at least
care.
have the courtesy to do that most of the time.
Like right now, is it minus 14 out there right now?
It's cold out there, Kev.
Like this.
And it's for me personally. So yesterday afternoon, I went for an ice time down at Argyle and came out of the rink around what would have been like 5 o'clock. Let's just say for simplicity's sake. And the sun was out. And I step out and I think, ooh, it's actually kind of nice again. I'm like, this must be turning the corner back the other direction. I haven't looked at a forecast all week. And then I proceed to get in my truck, get it fired up, warming up for a minute. And I'm looking at the forecast and I come to the realization that no, this is not the corner. It's just a nice sunny afternoon in still like minus 9-ish temperatures, which are far from that bad, but I think we were just left wanting a little bit more here in the final week of March.
Totally agree. So obviously, being a Yankee fan, I watched that game last night.
Of course.
I was excited. It was on during our draft, so it was in.
Yeah, just some good background
Great.
elements.
Yeah,
Get a little scout in on if you're specific on Giants or Yankees players.
Wanted to take Judge.
I had Helio Ramos down my queue, and then
Did ya?
someone grabbed him. Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees, to be honest with you, there's another kind of a Swiss Army knife on the Yankees that, Jose Caballero.
He was on my board. I wanted him.
And he's obviously, if he plays well enough here, Anthony Volpe could be more of a platoon guy.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Because Caballero came over at the deadline last year from Tampa Bay, right? And then he kind of played well enough to earn himself a semi-regular spot. And like, he's a utility guy, can do a lot of different things. He's fast on the base pass. Doesn't hit for the best average, but he's not a complete like strikeout liability as a lot of the Yankees are from a power hitting team perspective. So he's an intriguing player in that lineup this season for sure, because he does a lot of things that the Yankees don't, like play good defense.
Well, then he had that error.
Right on cue, right on cue.
Anyway, the game on Netflix, I don't know if you kind of dissected it. Like when I watch a broadcast on sports, just being in television for 33 years and lucky enough to do, some games at the pro level on, in hockey with the Oilers and just production things that I've done over the years with shows and things like that. I look at the other stuff and there were some things like, first of all, the little bug, you basically needed a microscope or a telescope to see the names in the fonts are so small. It's, that's for one, that's the first thing that I noticed. And now, like, Netflix paid $50 million, Duke, for just basically three games or 3 events, if you want to call it. So they paid $50 million for opening day or night, like that last night's game, the Field of Dreams game in the cornfield, and then the home run derby. So they paid, and that's $50 million per season. That's a 3-year deal. You follow the money. I've always liked Versagian or Vasgersian, pardon me, the play-by-play guy. I always think of the old coach from Notre Dame. He's fine. I thought, you bring in Barry Bonds. I kind of had it with him already. The guy at the beginning of the game yelling, "This is baseball." I don't know who the hell that was. Duke, is he a wrestler or something?
I didn't see the beginning.
I don't know. I think he's a comedian yelling out, "This is baseball." The game, baseball's, it's a perfect game for television because of the speed of it and the pace. Hockey's so fast. The broadcasters have, when you have in-game scripts and everything else, it's so difficult to do. Football is stop and go. Baseball's got that time where it breathes, and the announcers have the ability. Why do you think like Vin Scully was the best ever? Because of how he portrayed and parlayed his thoughts over the course of a game, telling the story and weaving the yarn. And many games he did without a color commentator. Back in the day, Vin Scully, Joe Garaggioli you just watched the game and just listened because it was that good. But when you have baseball, you have the ability to let things breathe, and the announcers have that chance. And then the production value comes in. So the production value to me yesterday, it's not there.
No.
There's nothing there. So I don't know. You know what? And then, to be honest, I don't know if you ever saw this, Duke. I turned it over after the game and MLB Network was on. I wanted to see what they were talking about. So, Adnan Virk, he's a Canadian. We got to get him on the show. That's one guy I'd like to get on.
Sure. We can work on that.
Anyway, all of a sudden, and this would be something that he would go, holy cow. We've all been in this position before. All of a sudden, something gets in Adnan's voice box and he can't talk. And a production assistant runs out a water bottle to him. Now, the two guys that were on the desk with him are just looking at him. And I'm going, fellas, come on, man.
Help him out.
Like, how about, hey, while Adnan gets a drink of water here, we can talk about Bob. These guys stared at Adnan Virk last night and they were either waiting for him to A, get his voice back, B, to keel over because he couldn't get his breath. It was unbelievable.
Like that Oilers game earlier this season where
Yeah.
Jack's voice just abandoned him right in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he can't even speak. And Louis is just trying to carry some water for him. Literally, both, I'm sure in a literal and figurative sense, as someone's clamoring to get him something to drink. And Louis just trying to, rag the puck for a few minutes while Louis struggles to get things back on track. And all the credit to him because they did.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been when you were on holidays, Kevin, because we talked about it during the show pretty extensively, where I was just I'd never seen it before. During a live broadcast, the play-by-play guy just lost his voice right snap in the middle of it.
Right.
And I don't know if they had a bottle of whiskey they pulled from the back counter to quickly give him a shot and trying to perk things up, or boiled a Neocitrin as quickly as, I don't know what they did, but he battled through the rest of the game. So all the credit to him, but it was a wild thing. So just to, add to what you're saying about poor Adnan last night.
Yeah. And this went for about 20 seconds, Duke. Like it was a long while. And being in Adnan's position on the desk like that, it feels like 2 hours.
Oh God. Yeah. You can't escape.
Yeah. MTR says it was that dummy Bert Kreischer. He's a comedian.
Yeah. He's a comedian. Yeah.
When we come back, I guess we'll go in or out. We got Jesse Granger from The Athletic, covers the Vegas Golden Knights at the top of the hour, and Ben Schulman, Toronto Blue Jays play-by-play man in the 50th season of the old Blue Jays. I was there in 1978, Duke, at Exhibition Stadium to watch a Blue Jays game almost 50 years ago. Man. When we come back, we'll go in or out with the Duke of Delburne on Sports 1440 with Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio, presented by Sports Select. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French.
Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries. Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk. And it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
The weather doesn't care about your shift or your schedule. Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts let you battle back against the ever-changing elements. Carhartt's durable, water-repellent technology lets light rain beat up and roll right off. Layer up and stay on the job longer without getting drenched. Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds, and if you're like me, you never stop wondering what the future holds. The one thing I do know is that you'll be able to enjoy my maple butter glazed donut at Tim Hortons because it's so fluffy and delicious that it'll never come off the menu. Never, ever, ever. Try it today at Tim's.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 940 in Edmonton. So glad you're with us on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick. Hey, the Rig just texted in, and I'm unaware of this. I got to do a little research. He says, I watched part of the first episode of The Price is Right tonight. Ben Schulman is doing the old Rod Roddy role as announcer. Is this true, Duke? Like, you know, like, come on down, Johnny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. I know.
Come on down.
The only, what is, I apologize, Ashley Callingbull?
Yes.
Right?
She's on it.
She works with the host, who's Howie Mandel, because she talked about it on Intermission with Gene, I think, at one point during the season, right? If I recall.
I do remember that.
I had not heard anything about Ben Schulman doing this. I
Looks
too
like
will dig into this a little bit.
Josh Fenwick to do while we're doing in or out, Duke.
Yeah, he's very busy.
Correct?
He's very busy.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Got to get through this next game of solitaire.
Stephen A. Smith. Time now for In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast air conditioning service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, and installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay. You know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line. Are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions. Just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Let her buck.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers down in Sin City, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Winner of tonight's game, barring an extra point situation, I guess I should add, will get control of second place inside the pathetic Pacific Division. You're not taking any bait there, Kev?
I told you.
All positive.
I'm not doing it anymore.
You're out on the pathetic division.
Yeah, they're coming on.
Game day prediction. Keep it simple to lead things off. I'm going with a second straight win for the Oilers. They've had success against Vegas this season. I see it continuing tonight. And the game total, my favorite Oilers bet this year, over 6.5, will hit for the 8th time this month.
You know, Duke, I'm going to go so in on this one, baby. And normally, I try to challenge you. Like I go against you, Duke, just to, again, why agree on everything? But man, the way Aiden Hill's playing, who knows if he even starts tonight? Schmid's not that much better. The Oilers' goaltending question marks are there. It's been 4-2 and 4-3 this year, the two games.
Mm-hmm.
So one, I'm assuming that one was 6.5 as well. I'm going to say, I'll go. I'm going to be in on this one, Duke. I'll say I'm on the over.
Yeah, all 4 goalies currently employed by these two teams. Lowest goals against is a 2.59.
That's Schmid.
That is Schmid, and the highest save percentage is an 8.93. Also, Akira Schmid. Yeah. So it's been tough sledding, obviously, in between the pipes for both these teams at different times this year, and for the large overarching part the entire season. So I don't really know why there would be any reason to doubt this. If for the only one being touched on this was Speck earlier on in the program, but yeah, Vegas 28th, just 16th in goals for per game this season. So middle of the pack at 311. But when you pair that with the Oilers' high profile offense, they can get a couple past them. I see 7 goals sliding in. And hey, the 7th just barely made it in the Utah game with Connor's empty netter. But I expect a little bit of a goal fest tonight down at T-Mobile.
I wanted to see the save percentages, Duke, of all the goalies. And as you said, right when you mentioned Schmid, I had him punched up at 8.93 and the goals against at 2.59. Now, you know things aren't going well for you if you're an NHL goaltender and you're not on page 1. You're not on page 1, which has 50 goals.
I was going to say, it's not a small selection either. It's a pretty big
50 goalies
list
on page 1, and you're not on there. Connor Ingram he's just below Schmid at 890 and 283. Well, that's not just, but it's a fair bit. So, if you're on page 2 of that, you're not having a great year.
But to the first part, you're feeling good about the Oilers' chances in the game, regardless of how many goals each team does score?
Yeah, I think, again, you know, when Frank and I were talking about Saturday night, and he mentioned, you know, maybe this is, and he never used the term a rallying point or, you know, a point where this team can start to dig in a bit more. I think maybe just that whole, like, you know, Connor's words even after the other night, you know, everybody dug in, and that's what has to happen. So maybe at this point you can dig in for 2, 3, 4 games, maybe more consecutively, because that's what they have to have.
And sort of pony off that a little bit, Kevin, for the Oilers, every game does matter here. That there's no moral victories at this stage of the season where they're at in the standings.
Yeah.
Their playoff positioning is solid, but far from secured. Do you, as someone that watches this team game to game, need to see them put out a second consecutive good defensive effort? And I'm not saying you got to be as stifling as you were against the Mammoth, because that was very impressive. They blocked more shots than the Mammoth got on net. You don't need to see that, but do you need to see that, or is just saying get the 2 points in whatever fashion it comes?
The 2 points are more important,
of course.
Obviously, no matter how you get it. But for me, I want to see the continuation to build, to stack performances from shift to shift, period to period, game to game, where you are now talking that you've played well for over a week.
The other half of the coin tonight, Vegas Golden Knights is struggling 3-7 in their last 10 games. Just mentioned their middle of the pack offense, defense, not much better. Goaltending, of course, a struggle as we just broke down. And I'm thinking, despite their pedigree, looking around the rest of the NHL, they've got some big name players still. They've made the ads that they think can put them back over the top. I do not view this Vegas team as a Stanley Cup contender here as we hit the final couple weeks of the irregular season.
I put them sort of in the same grouping as the Oilers, Duke, in the sense that there are pieces there. The goaltending isn't as good as it needs to be, but there are pieces there. So I'm not going to be totally agreeing with this one, only because they're in the Pacific. So again, the Vegas Golden Knights can win 2 rounds of the playoffs if they get their game together, just like the Oilers can win 2 rounds of the playoffs in the Pacific and get their game together. Now you get to the Final Four, it makes things a lot more interesting, a lot more tougher. Everyone knows that. But the path to get to the Final Four never been easier for anyone here in this division. Most notably, the 2 teams that have had playoff success, that know what it takes to get through a Stanley Cup, playoff run, and that's Vegas and the Oilers. So I'm not going to go as far to say to what your question is, saying that they're not a Stanley Cup contender because of the division they're in. They could get to the Final Four, and then who knows what happens after that.
The games that I've watched them play this year, and it is more than just the 2 outings against the Oilers. It doesn't feel like I would agree with you that I'd almost put them in the same camp as Edmonton, where there's something about it where it seems like they don't have it. I don't know what it is. It's one of the most impossible things to define. The Oilers, they've clearly shown an ability to get to that final stage. Vegas, most of this same team were part of the Stanley Cup championship roster just a couple seasons ago. But they seem to lack that factor a little bit this season. So I'm not viewing them as a huge player down the stretch.
Got a special alert here, Duke.
Oh, boy.
Before you get to your next question for our good friend and co-host, David Schlemko.
Schlemdog.
Thomas Chabot has had surgery, will be out anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks with a broken bone in his arm.
That can't be good. Not intentional.
Oh.
It was accident. Pure accident. The men's March Madness bracket resuming tonight with Sweet 16 action. Of the 8 matchups in this round, I'm seeing 3 of 8 as upset victories.
So which one aren't you?
Well, I'll tell you which one I am. Maybe save ourselves a little bit of time. The upset wins I see happening are Iowa over Nebraska. They are just 1.5 point underdogs, but they are a 9 seed. I would not have said this going into the tournament last weekend, but I'm taking Arkansas to beat number 1 Arizona. And then tomorrow, give me Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans over the UConn Huskies.
Isn't that something, Duke? So 3 out of the 8 you're saying are upsets. I'm going to be out. I'll go 2.
Just 2.
Yeah, I don't see Arkansas.
But the other 2 you agree with, or do you have different ones?
Okay, I don't think Texas can beat Purdue. Okay, so that's
in agreement.
Okay. And you said, what did you had?
I had Iowa over Nebraska.
Okay. I don't think Iowa is going to beat Nebraska. So I don't have that.
All right. So then the last game tonight is Illinois at Houston. Well, you're definitely not taking the Illini over the Cougars because they're your national champions. So you think there's 2 tomorrow on the table?
I don't know what it is about watching Alabama throw all these 3 balls, dude.
I just find it such a difficult game. Like, it's such an easy game to disrupt.
Listen, I'm not denying all that, but I don't know what it is. Maybe they get blown out, but here's the other one. The way the Duke's been playing, maybe St. John's. So no, you don't.
I don't trust the Johnnies because, and Declan mentioned it when he was on with you. Like they can go so long. Like they're such a bad shooting team, and it cost them last year. And I can see it cost them again here.
MTR says you're just throwing junk at the wall because you know your bracket is cooked.
Well, yeah, of course I am. Like I said, I had Arizona going to my Final Four originally, but there's just something about Darius Acuff that if nothing else, he can keep this game close. There's Arizona 7.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
I like Arkansas to cover a lot. I may sprinkle the money line, but
so I'm out, Duke. They'll be less than
out.
3.
But you don't like any other ones?
Nah, not really.
Just the one, just Alabama over Michigan.
No, that would have been my third one, right?
Well,
so
what's
I
your
got
other
you.
two?
Got you with Michigan State.
Okay,
so I got that one,
and then St. John's.
No, not St. John.
Well, you didn't like any today, so far you just have one.
Yeah, okay, Alabama. Whatever.
Sure. Either way, less than 3.
Sure.
Less than 3 is where
That's
you're
the
at.
question.
Opening day in the major leagues of baseball, unofficially. We did, of course, have the game last night, but an 11-game slate starting here in just over an hour's time. Yesterday, we predicted our World Series, which was a rematch in my eyes of the Jays and Dodgers. Let's go to the NL pennant winners, regular season division champions today. I'm taking the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Mets, keeping it chalky in the National League.
Huh. You know what? I'm going to be in on this one. I like this one, Duke, because I have the Mets, and I have the Mets possibly beating the Dodgers to get to the World Series.
Right.
And the Cubs, Milwaukee's always sniffing
They're just
around.
always, and I don't know how they do it. They lost guys again this year. Like that pitching system, this continues to pump guys out, and then they leave for the big money. You have to appreciate what they do, but at some point, does it kind of start to derail?
So underrated there.
But he's hurt.
Is he hurt right now?
He's going to be out.
What?
Just came across this morning.
Oh, good.
What was the?
I hope I'm
on IL fractured hand.
Good. That happened yesterday?
Yeah, no injury that occurred when he was playing for Venezuela on March 4th.
Oh, I feel bad for whoever took him in our draft last night.
Was it you?
No. That's terrible.
Currently, the favorites from a book perspective: Cubs plus 110, Brewers just behind at 225, Mets plus 135, Phillies even tighter at plus 175, and then of course in the NL West, it's not even listed actually. Maybe it's here we go.
The Dodgers were plus 250 to win the World Series.
Dodgers minus 650 to win the divisions. Padres plus 850. So that's the chalkiest of the chalk gets. But keep in mind, it was pretty close last year.
It was close, but the Dodgers had so many injuries.
Yes,
in their pitching staff.
Very much. So you're in here. Let's be in agreement, and we'll visit the American League tomorrow ahead of the Blue Jays getting things going from Toronto.
Perfect.
Any conversation with baseball, I think it goes hand in hand with ballpark food, and even without Laddie Schmid here, we'll keep it on a food theme for a Thursday. The gimmicks, the shticks that these teams, these ballparks roll out, I'm over it. They've gone too far. I don't know if you saw this, Kevin. Connor talked about it on 5 Questions with Greg yesterday. A lobster, not lobster, lobster poutine
in Boston,
Boston at Fenway Park.
Wait, I'm out, Duke, man. I wanted to have the best. I went to they did the Big A, and I had those nachos in that helmet.
So here's
unreal.
Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm at the baseball game. Here's things that I would like to take. The nachos in the helmet, ice cream in the helmet. I'm here for it.
Okay.
That to me is borderline like tried and true, and I like it because it almost gives walls. It's like eating nachos in a bowl. Chance of spillage is way improved. Give me those. Give me a hot dog. Give me draft beer in a cup. I do not need this Fugazi 999 challenge where they give you one tall boy can of beer to pour into little shot glasses and 9 mini hot dogs.
I was mad at that.
And these milkshakes that tower a foot tall with all the toppings and stuff. Like, it's a baseball game.
Oh,
Keep
it's
it
an
simple.
Experience, Duke.
Exactly.
It's an experience. I was mad about that thing, the 999 with the was it 2 ounces of beer in each one, 3 ounces?
Not even, I don't think.
Yeah. Then they give you the can, right? Was that in San Fran last night?
Might have been.
Yeah. And there are mini dogs, right?
The dogs.
Tiny dogs. Those are, we could do 999 in our sleep, Duke. That is happening.
Kevin, you'd be able to crush that in an inning.
That is happening this year. I'm guaranteeing it down at
the Hawks Park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna figure out a day. It's probably gonna be
a little Friday night game or something.
A Friday night game, and just get bombed.
Don't expect to see me at the Triple S the next morning.
We'll be. You know how bad your guts would be.
Oh man. Yeah, I won't be there not because I'm hungover, but because I'll still be on the can. Trying to piece my way through that process.
On Monday hockey, I'll see him today. My buddy Louie, he was at Sunday night all you could eat sushi with also the Korean barbecue. He said like 3 a.m. that he woke up in bed and he was on all fours because his guts were so sore.
Couldn't even walk.
Well, he said his intestines
had him doubled over.
Yeah. Good stuff, Duke. No, I like.
It's just too much. It's too much, Kev. Keep it simple. You can have some fun with it. The helmets, but like you don't got to go overboard. Keep it simple.
I like the menu. When I go up at Riverhawks games, I look at that menu and I go, that's cool stuff.
No, you don't. You're just like, give me 12 hot dogs, please, and thank you.
No,
and 12 beers.
Hey, Jesse Granger coming up at the top of the hour, covers the Vegas Golden Knights for The Athletic. Also in the 10 o'clock hour, Ben Schulman. Did you find out, Joshy boy? He is on The Price is Right. Wow. Tonight?
No, that's what the show is called. Price is Right tonight.
Wow. Come on down. I wonder if that's how I should intro him. Come on down, Ben Schulman. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high-quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. Hey, that's Fusion with a Z. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers. They're down in Sin City to finish off this 2-game swing to the desert. Puck drop coming just after 7:30 against the Golden Knights. Pre-game coverage starting right here at 6 o'clock on Sports 1440. 12 of the games around the rest of the NHL. Montreal hosting the Blue Jackets. Penguins are in our nation's capital against the Senators. Kraken up against the Lightning. Panthers take on the Wild. Islanders host the Stars. Blackhawks play the Flyers. Blues against the Sharks. Devils in Nashville. Jets host the Avalanche. Caps play the Mammoth. Ducks down the highway against the Flames, and the finale of the evening, Canucks hosting the Los Angeles Kings. Just 3 games on the hard court as the Knicks take on Charlotte, Detroit playing New Orleans, Sacramento up against Orlando, and March Madness on the men's bracket resuming action with Sweet 16 playing tonight. Texas up against Purdue, Nebraska taking on Iowa, Arkansas against Arizona, and Houston takes on Illinois from their home court in Texas. Full slate of games in the major leagues of baseball starting just after 11 o'clock with the Mets playing the Pirates from Citi Field. Elsewhere, Cubs host the Nationals. Twins are in Baltimore. Cardinals play the Rays. Tigers against the Padres. Guardians in Seattle. Phillies host the Rangers, and the Red Sox play the Reds. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Jesse Granger from The Athletic, covering the Vegas Golden Knights, as well as Toronto Blue Jays play-by-play man Ben Schulman. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
At GS Construction, every winter plan becomes a spring project. Every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running. With a people-first mentality, career growth, and comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Why pay dealership prices when you can get the same quality for less? Hi, it's Lisa, and here at Ed's Auto Salvage, we've been Alberta's trusted source for used auto parts for nearly 50 years. From engines to mirrors, transmissions to tires, we've got it all at prices guaranteed to keep your wallet happy. Shop local, shop smart. Shop Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Be sure to visit us online at edsautosalvage.com and get your vehicle back on the road for less.
It's happened again, and construction season is coming soon. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:02 in Edmonton time now for the game of the day, which is kind of obvious. Tonight's Oilers Golden Knights tilt in Vegas. Brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where clear out on the remaining 2025 Jeep Wranglers has almost come to a close. Still a couple of vehicles left on the lot. The Sahara package starts at $59,900. There's only a couple of them left, though. StAlbertDodge.com. Check them out. Give them a call or a little look-see on the old website as we welcome back Jesse Granger from The Athletic. Covers the Golden Knights. Morning, Jesse. You're with Kevin Karius. As always, thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, I got to get this straight. I just found out and heard that you were playing in your beer league championship game last night in Vegas. What the hell happened, Jesse? Let's hear all about it.
Yeah, it was glorious. I'm sure all the listeners are thrilled to hear about my beer league game. It was fun. It was a championship game. It was close game, 2-2 in the final moments, and we scored the game-winning goal with 5 seconds left. It was pretty thrilling.
You're kidding. Wow. Did you have the game winner or what?
No, I'm the goalie.
Oh, wow.
I was 200 feet away on the other end.
There you go. I did not know that. Well, big win between the pipes. Maybe explain to our listeners what like adult hockey, beer league hockey is like compared to here, where, as you can imagine, there are like a million leagues and a million players going at it. What's it like down there?
It's been really fun to watch it grow from being just basically one rink. There were 2 rinks in town, but they weren't always full before the Golden Knights got here, to now we've got the Golden Knights themselves have built 2 facilities with 2 sheets of ice each. So we're now up to 7 sheets of ice that are public. That's not including the professional arenas. We got 7 sheets of ice, and it is packed here in Vegas. I mean, I usually play at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night because of all the youth hockey, obviously. Takes up the early spots, and yeah, it's been really cool. And they're in talks to build another facility and maybe even 2 more facilities because the demand is so high right now. It's really cool to watch hockey grow in the desert.
Wow, I remember going down to Dallas covering the Oilers in the late 90s, Jesse, and to see the Dr. Pepper centers down there that were just starting because the stars were getting going. I would imagine that's the same thing, just a few decades later here in Vegas.
Yeah, it is. And it obviously starts with the youth hockey, and the junior Golden Knights it's a great program. They travel all over and win some tournaments, obviously still trying to build from the ground up. But yeah, no, and even like the adult hockey, there are leagues every night in every rink across town, all different levels. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of Canadians down there that live, full time that are playing too?
You know what? It is Canadians and also just people from hockey towns, people from Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Massachusetts, stuff like that. Like Vegas is a transient city. There aren't many people that are born and raised in Vegas. Pretty much everyone here moved from somewhere. And you get a lot of people that grew up playing hockey in a more traditional market. And now they obviously have a lot of more people to play with here in Vegas than they used to 9 years ago before the Golden Knights showed up.
Yeah, cool stuff. Jesse Granger from The Athletic with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Well, hey, maybe the way you're playing between the pipes, the Golden Knights could use you here.
Yeah, the save percentage. I think I'm keeping up with those guys barely.
What is it, Jesse? I mean, what have you seen? Because it's not too long ago that Aiden Hill led this team to a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's a combination of a few things. I think Aiden deserves some of the blame. We're not going to take, even though I'm the goalie guy, I'm not going to completely take it off of Aiden. I do think that Aiden has had an up and down year, and he hasn't looked quite himself. He started off a little bit slow, then got hurt and missed quite a bit of time. And since he came back, he just hasn't looked quite as explosive laterally as we're used to from him. And he's a big guy, so it's not like he's the most nimble of goalies. But for his size, he's a really athletic goalie. And he hasn't looked quite as quick getting to his spots and just being a half second behind the play that can give you problems with tracking the puck. And I think that combined with the fact that the Golden Knights just haven't been as good defensively as they've been in past years. When Adin Hill won that Stanley Cup, his numbers were tremendous, but that was clearly a product of everything together. He was playing well himself, but he was also very well insulated behind Bruce Cassidy's zone defense that keeps the puck out of the slot in the dangerous areas about as well as anyone back then. This year, now, they lost Alex Pietrangelo. He was the best defenseman on this team by a long shot. You lose him, that's a huge void. They've also lost Nick Hague, who was a big body that battled in front of the net and cleared out lanes for the goalie to see. They lost Zach Whitecloud in the trade for Rasmus Anderson, and they've replaced these guys with talented defensemen, Noah Hannafin, Rasmus Anderson, but they're more skilled defensemen. They're more finesse defensemen. They're not bullies in front of their own net the way Pietrangelo and Hague and Whitecloud were. And I think that it's causing a lot more bodies to be in front of the net. And now we're seeing goals go in from further out in the zone because the goalie's not getting his eyes on the release as well. And that's just a product of, you play that zone defense, there are going to be a lot of bodies in front of the net. And if your guys aren't strong enough to outmuscle the other guys and get it, not to say these guys aren't strong enough, but they're just not quite as dominant as they once were.
Yeah, it's a totally different look. With Rasmus Anderson coming in, how would you evaluate since he's come in since the deadline and how he's performed here, Jesse?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a rough start for him here. I still think he's trying to find his game. There are times when he has the puck where he really pops. Offensively, he likes to activate into the play. You'll see him dive deep down into the offensive zone and create some stuff. Defensively, I think he's still trying to find his game here in Vegas. His gaps have been not what he would like, especially in transition, maybe giving guys a little too much space entering the zone. But we've seen a lot of players join this team because they're constantly making big moves, trades, and free agency, and it usually does take a little while for someone to gel. So I don't think we've seen the best of Rasmus Anderson yet here in Vegas.
Jesse Granger from The Athletic with us on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. I just wanted to maybe go back to the trade deadline. Do you think that the Golden Knights did enough? Were their hands tied with cap and things like that? Maybe just your perspective on what happened at the deadline by the Knights.
Yeah, I certainly don't think they did enough. When you look at they haven't looked like a Stanley Cup contender this season, and you look at Colorado and Minnesota and Dallas, and they all made more significant adds, and they were already looking really good before that. But I don't think it was out of choice. I think the Golden Knights, I think the prices were really high at this deadline, and the Golden Knights don't have a first-round pick in 2026. They don't have a first-round pick in 2027, and they did trade their second-round pick in 2028 at the deadline. Because they've made a lot of these trades, the one for Hannafin, the one for Anderson, they've run out of the high-end ammunition that they're used to having for these trades. And then the fact that the prices were so high made it even more difficult. And like you said, the cap space is also a challenge. So this is a team that was kind of up against the wall. They didn't have a ton of room to add. And they tried to add some identity. They went out and got Nick Dowd, who's a matchup fourth liner who can take tough minutes. They got Cole Smith, who's a forechecker, which is something they needed. They needed a forecheck. And those guys have been okay, but they don't score much, and that's kind of what you expect from them. And obviously the Golden Knights are really struggling to put the puck in the net right now, and adding two fourth-line veteran guys who have never scored in their career isn't going to help you much in that aspect.
Yeah. How's Mitch Marner been in the last couple of weeks here, Jesse?
He's playing really well. I would say even though the offense isn't working, and he obviously is going to get some blame for that, being one of the top guys, I think he has really, of all their top guys, it seems like he's really trying to drag them along right now. He's had some shifts where you can tell he's jumping over the boards and like, I'm going to single-handedly will us into some dangerous chances right here. And he's played really well. He's back on the wing for the first time in a while. For a while there, he was playing center, and that's the first time he's ever done that in his NHL career. He fit in really well. Bruce Cassidy said, I love him as a center. I thought he was going to be there for the rest of the season. They did end up bumping him onto the wing, playing on Tomas Hertl's line, so he's back where he's a little more comfortable. And he's looked really good. Like I said, the results aren't there, but of all the top players on the Golden Knights, if you want to place the blame for the lack of scoring recently, I think Marner's probably at the bottom of that list.
Jesse Granger from The Athletic with us on Sports 1440. You know, we've been talking about the Oilers situation. It's similar to the Golden Knights in the sense that they're in the Pacific, and we've been talking about in the sense that since Connor McDavid's been here, this could be the easiest pathway that he's ever seen to the conference finals because, you know, the Golden Knights aren't the team that they used to be. The Oilers certainly not playing like they were a couple of years ago. Vancouver stinks. The rest of the division is way different with how, you know, the Anaheim Ducks are at the top of the heap right now. But do the Golden Knights feel like things are still okay here? We got a lot of good pieces to the puzzle in place here, Jesse. We've got some great veteran leaders. We've got some guys that have been through the battles, through the wars. Do they still feel like that despite sputtering here in the last 14, 15 games?
They certainly do. When you talk to Bruce Cassidy, when you talk to Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, they don't sound like a team that has played as poorly as they have this year. Because, like I said earlier, they haven't. If you just watch this season and this season alone, they've given you no reason to think that they can contend, that they can make it to a conference final, that they can do anything like that. But we also have 9 years of evidence of this team, and a lot of them have been here for most of that, and they've been to 4 Western Conference finals. They've been to 2 Stanley Cup finals, and they all believe that they're going to flip that switch eventually. And the longer it goes without them flipping the switch, the more you kind of start to doubt yourself. But I do think that right now they believe, hey, look, we haven't played the hockey we want to play. Fortunately for them, they're in what I've been calling the worst division I've ever seen. It is horrific, this specific division. I mean, we're going to have a team win a division without 100 points for the first time since they went to 4 divisions. When you look at their division, their record outside of the division against other divisions, it's the worst I can find. And I went back a bunch of years. I finally got tired of adding up numbers and stopped, but I couldn't find a year where the gap was bigger between the divisions than it is with the Pacific this year. It is a really bad division, and that sets you up if you're the Oilers or the Knights. I think both these teams, like you mentioned, are in very similar situations where we've done this. We have the talent on the ice. If we can flip the switch, we will end up coming out of this in the Western Conference final. And you look at it, it's like, well, you're going to be going against a team that's been through some absolute wars because the Central is stacked. So yes, I think that they have some belief, and there's some reason to have belief.
You know, it's funny, Jesse, when you answer a question like that and insert Golden Knights or insert Oilers, we could be talking about the same exact answer, same team, same philosophy, same outlook, and no one would know the difference because it's exactly the same. Like, that's what we've been talking about here for weeks and weeks here. So it's so similar.
And it's also similar in that they're both struggling with the goalies. Like the Oilers need better goaltending. The Golden Knights need better goaltending. They both believe that they've got, well, I think Vegas has a little more faith in Aiden Hill that he can flip the switch. We haven't seen it yet with Jari in Edmonton or obviously Connor Ingram. But yeah, I think these teams are in very similar situations. The one difference is, the Oilers have the best player on the planet, so there's that.
There's that, yeah. How do you think this one shakes out tonight, Jesse? What do you think?
It's going to be interesting. These teams do not like each other. We've seen it over the years. This is an important game. This could end up. I think the winner of tonight is going to be in great shape to host that. Now, obviously, these teams still are fighting to make the playoffs, but I think they're probably going to both make it, and I think they're probably going to end up the 2-3. It looks like this game could be a big decider in who hosts that series. And I think we're going to see some really physical hockey tonight. It's going to be high intensity game. I don't know who's going to win. Both these teams have been struggling, but it should be a really fun game. When these two teams get together, we've seen it over and over. There's some animosity there. It's some fun hockey.
What's the rest of the Golden Knights schedule shakedown here?
Yeah. When you look at just the names on the paper, it actually looks pretty good for them. They've got
Calgary, Vancouver,
some winnable games. They from here they host Washington, which will be tough, but then you get the Canucks, you get the Flames, and then they've got a long road trip. But they start up in Edmonton, then they go to Vancouver again, then we've got Seattle, and so there are some winnable games. They wrap the season up with a 2-game homestand against the Jets and the Kraken. A couple games against the Kraken, which is a team that is chasing them in the playoffs. Yeah. So they've got some games that you should, when you look at it, you say, okay, that's a win. But Winnipeg's one of those games, and they just went up there and got beaten by the Jets. So it's I wouldn't mark down any games as a win right now, the way this team's struggling to score.
Good stuff, Jesse, as always. Thanks for coming on. Congratulations on being the champions in the state of Nevada. Maybe heading up to a national tournament here.
That would be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, take care. Jesse Granger, beer league champion in Vegas last night. Allows two goals. The netminder of record. That's the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where clear out on the remaining Wrangler Saharas continues. You can get behind the wheel for under $60,000. When we come back, we're going to talk baseball. It's opening day in the majors, about an hour away. Pittsburgh and the New York Mets. The Blue Jays open up tomorrow. Toronto Blue Jays play-by-play man Ben Schulman will be with us right after the break. It's the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch, presented by Sports Select.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you? Who, me? No way. I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you. One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lottery, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1021 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're excited again to have Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the airwaves here at Sports 1440 AM. All the weekend games and then the evening games over the course of the week. We'll join in progress after the Jason Gregor show. So you'll be able to hear the dulcet tones and sounds of Ben Schulman once again on Sports 1440 AM radio. And we're excited to get Ben on the airwaves with us here again. Ben Schulman, play-by-play man for the Toronto Blue Jays. Good morning, Ben. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks as always for jumping on Sports 1440 a day ahead of opening night. It's going to be exciting. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you so much for having me, and I wish I could be in studio, but it would complicate my efforts to get back for an opening day. But I'm so excited and can't wait for tomorrow. I'm sure you guys are just as pumped.
Oh, we are. I was just thinking, all the 50th year, and I was thinking back, Ben, I was at Exhibition Stadium in '78 to watch a Blue Jays game. It was the first game I ever saw, being a Western Canadian guy, but I remember it well as I was 11 years old. It was so cool to be out there. And here we are 50 years later. And again, we're going to have the games with you and Chris LaRue doing them on Sports 1440. So we're really excited about that. We've had so many guests on, Ben, that cover the Blue Jays in the last 6 weeks. And we always go back to last year and how close this team was. And everyone says, man, I don't know if I'll ever get over it. I don't know because the Blue Jays were so close and you were right there, front row center to see it all. Just maybe go back to last year and how close this team was to winning its third World Series.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you really can't get closer. I mean, as they would tell you, they essentially played an 8-game, 2-inning series with the amount of extra innings. There were 11 extra innings in total in that series, and they obviously led with 2 outs left. Not to mention, they led before that by multiple runs with a couple innings left and had a lot of chances probably to tack on some insurance runs and win that game before the 9th inning. But it's as close as you can get. I mean, it was the ride of a lifetime for me, and I'm hoping that they'll get back there again soon. But it's a year that, regardless, even if this turns into a dynasty, which I know a lot of people would like, still last year I think will hold a special place for me. It was so unexpected. It was such a crazy ride after they didn't necessarily have the best month of September. And so we didn't necessarily see any of that coming, even when they were one of the best teams in baseball. And it was just incredible. But yeah, they were as close as it gets. I mean, I won't lie to you, when Miguel Rojas is hitting with 1 out in the 9th, I look on deck, I see Shohei Ohtani, and I'm starting to think about framing up, this is going to be Hoffman against Ohtani for the World Series. So I was getting prepared for the World Series to end in that 9th inning, and I imagine a lot of people were preparing for that, or even thought they'd put it away a little earlier.
Oh, I just can't imagine what it would have been like for you. Ben Schulman with us, Jays play-by-play man on Sports 1440. But here we go. We got another year in front of us. As you said, it'd be great to have success like the Jays had. And going back to last year and comparing this year's team, the closeness, and everyone talked about how tight-knit of a unit this was. Do you think that carries over again here, Ben, into this season?
I think a lot of it does. They'll have to create their own group because, it's not the exact same team. And so they'll have to find new things to bond about with some of the newer players and stuff like that. But I think it's a strength for the Blue Jays that they do return a lot of the same team. You still have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. obviously leading the ball club. You still have George Springer, Kevin Gausman, even guys like, Miles Straw, Ernie Clement, who were such pillars of that clubhouse that are set to make a big impact in that room again. So I think you carry most of it over, but as the Blue Jays have said constantly, it's not the exact same thing. And so they have to find, their own way too to bond as this new group with these new faces and find, hopefully a very similar chemistry that they had last year because it worked so well for them.
You just mentioned Vladdy Guerrero. I'm not sure if he gets back to 48 home runs that he had 5 years ago in 2021, but I think he's up for a big year, and I think you would feel that way, and a lot of Blue Jay fans feel that way as well. And I was watching something on the Major League Baseball Network the other day, Ben, where they feel that Vladimir Guerrero is in that conversation with the judges and Ohtani's as being the face of baseball. Maybe it's after the World Baseball Classic or whatever you want to call it, but because of his personality and everything else, do you see Vladdy kind of entering that stratosphere with the rest of those big names in the game?
In terms of, popularity and all of that, I think 100%. When you're talking about faces of the game, I think Vladdy has a unique position too, where, obviously he's incredibly popular in Canada and brings all those fans into the game. He's incredibly popular in the Dominican Republic for obvious reasons. And then, now that I think fans watched him more closely than they probably ever had during that World Series run, fans in the U.S. and more casual baseball fans, I think they started to really realize how entertaining, how lovable of a style of play he has also. And so I think that I think baseball hopes he's one of the faces of the game too. He's also like a guy who's, represented his organization well and never gotten in trouble and, brings a lot of young people into the game too. So I do think that's the case. And then on the field, I also think he's set for a big year. For me, I know the home runs became such a focus because he hit so many of them in that young season. Yeah. For me, the best version of him probably isn't a 50 home run guy, but it's a guy who could hit 320 with 30 home runs. I think he's got a chance to be one of those all around really, really tough players, maybe more like Miguel Cabrera type than a Prince Fielder, let's say. And I think if he can do that, I think he might threaten for a batting title this year or next year. And that would be really exciting because that's the kind of player that I think is really fun for fans to watch too.
Yeah. Ben Schulman with us on Sports 1440. Let's discuss this pitching staff where a few months ago, they had too many starters. Now with all the injuries, they just got enough. Just run us through what you think this pitching staff can, hold up to once you get guys like Savage and the likes of those guys back.
Yeah, at full strength, I think this is one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. I think when you're looking at a rotation that Kevin Gausman and Dylan Cease are going to be in, and then you have 3 other spots to fill with 6 incredibly capable guys to do that, frankly. And whether it's Savage and Bieber and Barrios, or it's Lauer and Scherzer and Ponce, I think that they have a lot of irons in the fire. They're probably more capable starting pitching options than they've had in years. I don't even know when the last time is that they could have 3 guys that they would have expected to be in their rotation not start the year and then still roll out a rotation as impressive as this. So I think at full strength, you're looking at just an absolute buzzsaw of a rotation. No breaks, no easy days. Everyone has given you a lot. And then even in its current form, it worked itself out, like you said, having quote unquote too many starters. They still have a very nice rotation going into this year. I think that, Kevin Gausman and Dylan Cease right at the top are going to be 2 of the better pitchers in the American League. I think that there's a lot to like with Eric Lauer and what he brought to the rotation last year. Cody Ponce, has incredible stuff and was the best all-around player, not just pitcher in Korea last year. And that's why he got the contract he did. And then, Max Scherzer, I don't even think I need to explain fully what he brings. I think we all kind of know it, and he looks healthier than ever. So I think that they're in a really good spot. I like the additions in the bullpen, mainly Tyler Rogers as well. And I thought that a lot of the relievers look great in camp. I think 1 through 13, they're going to pitch really well this year. And if you're looking at a spot where they could even take a step forward from last year, I think that looking at the pitching staff might be where it happens.
What did you see from Cody Ponce, Ben, in spring training? And what would your expectations be of him this season?
Yeah, he's a very interesting guy off the field. I think Blue Jays fans are going to learn to like his character a lot. He brings a dynamic to the clubhouse that I don't think they've had in a while. Just interested in a lot of things that maybe the quote unquote typical baseball player might not be. And then on the field, huge fastball, can get it to 97, 98 as a starter consistently. And that's really impressive. Probably will sit around the 95, 96 range. And that wipeout changeup that he has, it's called a changeup, but it acts more like a splitter. It's an approach that Blue Jays fans will be used to from the guys they already have in their rotation, where he can kind of go up in the zone at 96 and then have the guy change their eye level to look to the bottom of the zone. And all of a sudden that changeup just drops off the table into the dirt, but you've already started swinging at it. So I think that there's a lot to be liked there. There's the question of how will it translate over from Asia. He hasn't been in the major leagues in 4 years. And so I think that's a legitimate question to ask how seamlessly it'll transition over. And also, at times it looked like his command of his non-fastball was a little bit sporadic in spring. Now it's spring training, so it's hard to know too much about how much that matters. But I think the stuff is there, and we'll just see if he can put it together in the toughest league in the world and do it with consistency. But I think they're hoping he's, their 4 or 5 guy. They're not asking him to be, right up there with Kevin Gausman. If he gives them a chance to win most days, I think they'll be pretty happy.
Mm-hmm. Ben Schulman with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. I think most Blue Jay fans in these parts would know pretty well what the bullpen entails here, Ben. For me personally, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about Spencer Miles, the Rule 5 pitcher that came over from the Giants. Can you maybe tell our listeners what you saw of him in spring training and what enabled him to crack the roster to start the season?
Sure. He's a very interesting case. He's a guy that was drafted in the 4th round in 2022, but has not stayed healthy at all. He had back surgery, missed all of 2023, and then 5 starts into 2024, 5 appearances. He ends up straining something in his arm. It leads eventually to Tommy John surgery. So he was exposed to the Rule 5 draft because the Giants didn't want to put him on their 40-man roster. They wanted to use the space elsewhere, likely because he hasn't pitched that much. But he went to the Arizona Fall League in the winter where prospects get a little extra time to play and flashed some really, interesting pitches and some pretty enticing stuff. And the Blue Jays brought him in. And, he showed those flashes again in camp. There were some ups and downs. There were some outings where he didn't have a ton of command, but I think he's a guy, again, has got a pretty big fastball. He's got a big curveball. That's his best pitch, I think, is his big looping curveball that can get a lot of swing and miss. And he's a guy that probably, if not for injuries, would be in the major leagues right now. But, because of Rule 5 eligibility, the Blue Jays had to take him to the major leagues or offer him back to the San Francisco Giants. Mm-hmm. And I think when they looked at their options of who could be a quote unquote, last guy in that pen, especially due to some injuries that might have opened up a spot there, I think they felt like giving him a shot made some sense. They can always go back on it in 5 days if they want to. They made their first change in the bullpen last year 4 days into the season, but I think they're going to give this guy who has major league ready stuff a shot and see if he can make up for the lack of professional experience that he has. And if not, they'll obviously look elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to just discuss the bottom of the order with you, Ben. And I really think if Andres Jimenez can bat 250 and then change, he's going to steal 30 bags. And I just maybe your thoughts on how the bottom of the order is going to be able to turn things over for the top of the order here.
Yeah, such a huge strength of the Blue Jays last year. Good point to highlight it because they wouldn't be anywhere without the amount of traffic they created for the top of the order guys like Springer, Bichette, Guerrero last season. And I think you look at most days to start the year, I think they'll start hitting Okamoto 7th. Yeah. I think there's room for him to move up, but I think, they don't want to put too much pressure on him. They want to do some lefty-righty stuff. So that's like potentially a way overqualified bat for the bottom third of the order. If he's, even 3/4 of what he could produce in Japan, he's going to be an above average major league hitter with the possibility to run into some homers and maybe knock in some of those guys that are hitting in front of him. I think you will see, as shocking as it is, given he set the Major League Baseball postseason hits record last year, I think you'll see Ernie Clement down there a lot, and he creates a lot of havoc in that bottom third. He's on base a fair bit. He makes a lot of contact. He doesn't steal a ton of bases, but he's got a lot of speed, so he can, he's a great first to third guy or steal from first on a double. That kind of stuff he's going to do really well for you. And then you mentioned Andres Jimenez, who I think last year they felt, obviously did not have a great offensive year, but he got hurt in the middle of the season. Then, late in the season, they're switching him over to shortstop. There was a lot for him to deal with, not to mention it was his first season with a new organization. I think they feel like he's maybe set up slightly better this year. He knows what position he's playing. He obviously knows where he's playing, who he's playing with at this point, knowing the city and his teammates. And so I think they feel like, they can get him back to a closer to league average level. And if he's doing that with what he's going to provide defensively, I think you have a big boost. And then you'll also see guys factor in, Jesus Sanchez could be in that mix of Okamoto moves up. Davis Schneider could be in that mix at times. Miles Straw obviously will take some at bats in those spots as well. But I think it'll be a lot of the same for the Blue Jays in that bottom third, which worked for them last year, and probably just the addition of more Okamoto in there, which I'm pretty high on what he could do for them this year.
Yeah, I mean, Jimenez was 30 bags in 23-24 in Cleveland with regular playing time. I think this guy is going to be everyone's going to go, where did he come from? Well, he was damn near a 300 hitter back in 2022 when he was with Cleveland.
Yep.
You mentioned Ernie Clement. How bad do you think Ernie Clement and George Springer are going to get the gears today after the Leafs game last night, Ben, where they were in the wrong seats and had to back up a few rows?
I imagine they already got it pretty good, but I think it'll keep going. It was cool to see all those Jays at the game, and Ernie and George getting to talk some hockey, a sport that they really like outside of baseball. But I think it just shows the cool thing about the Jays, I think, with those guys, and it's funny to compare it using guys sitting in the wrong seats, but they just have the feeling of like just your normal guys, and I think a lot of people, it's hard to be just a normal guy. I understand when people have difficulty doing that when you're playing a game for a living and you're making large sums of money and you're very famous, but they really are, they've connected so much with the city and the country at large. They really are integrated and really feel like, a baseball fan that you would see in Toronto when you're talking to them. So it was cool to see them. And I don't know if the Leafs wanted to win, but it helped the Leafs win. So I guess that's a good thing.
They're high-fiving fans after a goal, and like the fans they're just like regular guys in the stands. It was just fun to watch. I have to ask about how you got involved in the Price is Right at night. How did that opportunity come to you?
Yeah, that was a big surprise to me, as I imagine it was to everyone else. It was kind of, to circle back to the start of our, discussion, it's after the World Series. And I probably took a week or two where my basketball season hadn't started yet. And I just kind of relaxed and probably was a sad sack for a day or whatever. And then just kind of got some sleep and did laundry and like cooked a meal for the first time in a while and just got an email from some of the folks at City TV who, I guess, had been following the Blue Jays run and wanted to know if I would be interested in the opportunity in doing it. And pretty much immediately, I said I'd be interested and went down and it kind of, what I would call like a table read for them, just sat there and we did like a fake show and I read some prizes and did some come on downs and waited for about a week or so after that to hear back from them, jumped on a call with some of their people and they said that they wanted me to do it. I was thrilled. I mean, I've loved game shows growing up. I was a big viewer of, the Game Show Network, watched a lot of that, watched a lot of Price is Right, Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune with my mom. And so getting to be on a game show and getting to see TV from a whole different kind of side of it was a lot of fun.
And I'm jealous, man. I'd love to do the Price is Right. I love that show, man.
Well, apply and maybe you'll get on the show.
Maybe I could just be a contestant. I'd start with that. Whatever. Is Chris LaRue basically on all the broadcasts with you? Like last year, he had in or out with a few other commentators. What's it like this year?
Yeah, as far as I know, it'll be predominantly Chris. There'll be something, all of us will have time off or maybe responsibility to fill in on another part of a Sportsnet broadcast. But I would say, 8 times, 9 times out of 10, if you tune in, it'll be myself and Chris again.
Perfect. I had a text too from the rig. Did Ben and Chris get to travel with the team doing radio? How does that work?
Not at this moment have I heard plans on that. So I'll let you know if I hear anything back.
Perfect. Hey, Ben, thanks for coming on. I know things are really busy with the home opener and season opener and opening day tomorrow. I'm sure we'll talk in the near future because we're just so happy and proud to have Blue Jays baseball with yourself and Chris on Sports 1440. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. Really love that we're on 1440 and appreciate everyone tuning in.
You betcha. That's Ben Schulman, Toronto Blue Jays play-by-play man. And again, you can hear Toronto Blue Jays baseball right here on Sports 1440 AM radio on the weekends in their entirety. On weekday games, we'll join Blue Jays baseball in progress right after the Jason Gregor show at 6 o'clock. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Get to some more of your texts at 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio, presented by Sports Select. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep. All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
The WHL playoffs return to Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Friday, your Edmonton Oil Kings square off with the Saskatoon Blades in Game 1 of their first-round series. Then, on Family Fun Sunday, your Oil Kings turn up the heat for Game 2 versus Saskatoon.
Plus, at every home game score, Calmon Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Saskatoon Blades.
Game 1, Friday night at 7. Game 2, Family Fun Sunday afternoon at 2.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20. Save on day-of-game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Being a living organ donor is a noble, life-changing act. But there's more than one way to be a hero. Join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence. As an employer, you can give the gift of time and remove financial barriers to make employee donations easier. You'll earn recognition, a raised corporate profile, employee satisfaction, and of course, be a huge part in saving lives in desperate need. Support the sacrifice of living donors. Discover how to join the Living Donor Circle of Excellence program today at kidney.ca.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
Do you have the time?
Your game, your station. Sports 1440.
And watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
All right, welcome back to the big program. Those are my boys, Duke. My guys that you guys teased me about during the Grey Cup in Hamilton. How do you know those? You know, not how do you know? Those guys are way too young.
It's not your generation.
And
then what was it? Was it this past fall? They were playing the opening
at
not Green Day, but Our Lady Peace.
Oh.
And you were calling them OLP.
Yeah.
And then we were giving you a hard time about that, and people texted in and be like, no, that's
OLP,
they go
man.
by that,
Yeah,
which
OLP.
was news to me. Listen, Our Lady Peace wasn't exactly a regular in my rotation.
I'd like to meet those Green Day guys. Huss texted in and told me about the Peppers. He says, watch the documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, I just saw the ad for it last night when I was throwing on a little something. Or actually, it was when I was exiting the baseball game.
Oh.
I was dipping out of that to watch some more Sopranos before bedtime.
Are you almost done or what?
I think I've got like 8 episodes left or so.
Oh.
I'm coming down the wire.
You know what? We started watching Boston Legal.
Because you found it on
Yeah,
Disney
found it
Plus.
on Disney Plus. We watched 4 episodes.
And does it hold up?
Yeah.
Just as good as you remember, or what?
I didn't remember how many stars were in it. Like the quality of cast.
Yeah.
Like the amount of legitimate, Hollywood stars that are in it besides Shatner and James Spader. I'll be honest, I want to get to where that episode is with him and Candace Bergen. That's all I want to see. But anyway, hey, a lot of text, man, getting goosebumps. It's funny. BC Oiler, Kim in St. Albert, getting goosebumps. Bumps. Great interview with Ben. I'm fired up for opening night tomorrow. Blue Jays, Athletics in Toronto. It's going to be Kevin Gosman, Luis Severino on the hill for the Athletics. I don't shortchange the Athletics. This team is dangerous. They have some guys that can pound the ball. Their pitching isn't good enough. Everyone knows that. Mm-hmm. But they have some guys that have the ability to put the ball in play. Not only put the ball in play, like guys like Jacob Wilson and guys like that, but they got guys like Rooker. They got like Soderstrom is really good. Langoliers is one of the best hitting catchers going. And Nick Kurtz, well, that goes without saying where he is. I mean, he's a 35 home run guy, and that's the one guy, Duke, I thought I was going to.
I thought I would be kind of sneaky, maybe trying to hone in on some Athletics players because we do still think pretty lowly of them. But then you also factor in the fact they play in that bandbox of a park. And we talked about it with our guest on Fantasy Frenzy yesterday, Vlad. And yeah, listen, they've got some guys that can pound the ball and as a better and play in Sports Select this summer. I think a lot of Athletics games, the over will be a fun bet more nights than not to get it on the mix with them because, they should be a fun team. No doubt about it.
I picked up Justin Sterner late. I think he's going to be the closer there, Duke.
Yeah, I don't. I'm probably sounding more downtrodden than I actually am about the team that we drafted. But I think it's just because last year coming to the draft, I was like, what a night, what a swindle I pulled on these 19 other guys. And I'm not feeling as confident, but I like the team that I put together. I'm gonna have to get Connor Halley's feedback on it here.
So I thought that setup on the Yahoo thing is really good as far as the homepage for the draft.
Were you doing it on your phone or on your laptop?
On my laptop.
Okay.
So you were doing yours on
I
your
just
phone?
did it on my phone, because I was watching. As I said, I was so my back was pretty banged up after hockey, so I was just laying in bed.
So like basically and I think people that do any drafts, it's like NFL, anything. So you have your Q list, and basically the other list shows their top ADPs and everything else, and it shows the players that are drafted, haven't been drafted, and then there's a list of the remaining players. So you can go, you could just take the best guy available, which would be at the top of the list.
Right.
So,
but and this is not unique to Yahoo. It's not a knock on the format. It's just but like then when you have guys that are injured and they're going to be out for, like, you have no interest in taking them. They're out for the year. They're out for half the year. They still sit at the top of the list because of their expected totals,
right?
Not including injury, right? So then they kind of just sit there getting in your way. And then, and I can't remember who it was texted in. Might have been Jay and Victoria texted and said, I had to dip out and my last 4 rounds were auto draft, and he got all those injured guys that were still sitting.
He did, yeah.
So that was a pretty big spring of notifications this morning saying Jay's team has dropped so-and-so. Jay's team has dropped so-and-so, making replacements to his roster here ahead of Monday's opener for our league opening on Monday.
I will say to you, Duke, and you mentioned the Athletics because it's a team that flies under the radar that you go, well, maybe players are less familiar to the regular casual baseball fan. similar with the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, they've got some guys.
They do. So I was surprised, again, when you look at that top of the list, and I know this is going to come back and haunt me, Duke, and this guy is going to get absolutely lit up today. But their starting pitcher, their number one ace, Shane Smith, could have been drafted at least a round or two. He hung around up top there at the top of the list. No one was taking him because he pitches for the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I took him. And he starts today. And I know now that I said that I picked him.
Let me rush to Sports Select and put in a wager against the White Sox.
Against the White Sox? All I care is 5 innings, 6 Ks from Smitty. I'd probably handle 3 Ernies.
Mm-hmm. So, Kevin, the Jays obviously don't play today. And with games starting as you leave the studio,
I'll watch all day.
Are you going to be camped out watching all day?
I will watch all day, except that I got to go to hockey here, Duke, right away. So I might not even stay around for a beer.
Rushing home.
Yeah, because we got Astros and Angels at 2:10. The first game is what? 11:15 here. That's the National Leaguer. We got Houston and LA at 2:10. Then there's another one sort of sandwiched in there too. Is there not? Duke? Oh no, yeah, it's the Cubs in Washington at 12:20.
Mm-hmm.
So
you don't care about the American League games?
Oh, no, I care about all of them because I'm Duke. I'm in a National League draft, American League, and a combined right now.
Wow, you're spread thin, Kev. I'm worried about you.
Well, and then Saturday is the draft with Donnie P.
Oh.
And Donnie P.
Taking the day off from pre and post game to come and do this draft. That's commitment if I've ever seen it.
It is. So we talked about it, and I said, Donnie, I'm going to help you out. You can sit beside me, and I'm just going to feed him BS the whole time.
That's just
Donnie,
savage,
this is
Kevin.
your guy. Go
That's
after
savage.
him. It's an auction. Go after him, Donnie. What do you got for the game tonight, Duke? 4-3 Oilers?
I'm going to say 5-3. Empty netter.
5-3 empty netter. I'm kind of changing my tune now. Maybe it might be a little lower scoring.
Switching back because after the chat with Jesse talking about this team, they always play tight. They've a lot of phicality. Now, could that lead to more special team opportunities?
Maybe.
Now we know the Oilers' power play has struggled a little bit since Draisaitl's injury, but there's no better way to get out of a funk than get a whole bunch of reps.
How about a 4-3 overtime game, Duke?
Okay. The Pacific Division, getting points on the board.
There you go. Yeah. Do that again. I was only a half out, right? It was 8.5.
I set the line at 8.5, and
it was 8.
You'd originally predicted 10.
No, I was just kidding with that.
Yeah, of course.
Come on now.
It's always kidding when you get it wrong.
No.
Imagine if it had been 10, you would have been in here tooting your horn.
Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Rush Ship T-Bird,
Connor Halley, and the Duke of Delburne. 12 o'clock, it's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell, Declan Kruger. 2 till 6, the Jason Greger Show drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. We got our pregame show with Andrew Walker, Landon Ferraro, and Donnie P. at 6 bells till 7:30. Puck drop shortly after 7:30 for the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Those 3 cats will be back for the postgame show following the conclusion of the game. We got Fox Sports all night long, baby. And then we will be back with you to wrap up the week with Eddie Steele tomorrow at 7. We're going to talk a little CFL Combine. We'll get Eddie's thoughts on maybe, who's draftable, top 3, 4, 5, whatever. A lot of Americans, Canadians playing at American colleges that are rated in the top, 10, 12 players for sure. So we'll have that for you tomorrow. Before that time now, for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding, awswelding.ca. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the great text. Thanks for the interaction. We could not do it without you. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Until then, here is the Duke.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Game day for the Edmonton Oilers. They are in Vegas tonight to take on the Golden Knights in a pivotal Pacific Division matchup. Puck drop coming just after 7:30 Mountain Time. Pregame coverage starting right here on Sports 1440 at 6. Around the rest of the NHL, 12 other games, including plenty with playoff implications. Montreal hosting Columbus. Pittsburgh in Ottawa. Kraken up against the Lightning. Wild take on the Panthers. Stars play the Islanders. Sharks in St. Louis. Devils take on the Predators. Jets hosting the Avalanche. Capitals up against the Mammoth. Ducks down the highway against Calgary. And the nightcap, Vancouver Canucks hosting the Los Angeles Kings. 3 games in the association. Charlotte taking on the Knicks. New Orleans is in Detroit. And Orlando hosting Sacramento. And March Madness in the men's bracket resuming tonight with Sweet 16 action. Texas up against Purdue. Nebraska playing Iowa. Arkansas against number 1 seeded Arizona. And Houston battles with Illinois. First full day of action in the major leagues of baseball starting here in about 15 minutes time with the Mets hosting the Pirates. Still to come, Cubs against the Nationals, Orioles against the Twins, Cardinals playing the Rays, Red Sox are in Cincinnati, Mariners host the Guardians, and the Dodgers take on the Diamondbacks. And some curling news to note as Alberta product Val Sweeting announcing will no longer be pairing with team Carrie Anderson moving forward. The pair, along with the rest of their club, 5-time Scotties Tournament of Hearts champions. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio